That definitely got played earlier the week.
All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. Pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they was testified me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you. That you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there is one that accused you, even Moses, of whom you trust. If I had you believe Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writing, how should you believe my word? But praise be to Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Let's come on over here to Proverbs 34 and 27. Hey, who over there making all that noise so I can slap them dead in their nose? Is that Jeremiah? James? Close your leg, little girl. Fix your clothes. 34:27. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, write you these words, for after the tenor of these words have I made a covenant with you and with Yasharal. And he was there with Yahuwah 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water, and he wrote upon the tables the words of the covenant, the 10 commandments. Do y'all remember what that word tenor translated to? Tenor. Yes, it can translate it to mouth or words. The mouth of Elohim. That's the tenor of the covenant. That's what it means. But let's do this. Let's go to Deuteronomy 9. Look at another vantage point of said story. Sit down somewhere, boy. Well, who beat you up, boy? Well, you put your feet on it. Oh. LaRue, you out of pocket. You can pick it up at verse 1. Shalom, man. What's good with you, bro? Go ahead, hit that like button, man. Y'all tighten up on your bike stroke. Hey. Sit. Good job. Who cut your face up, man? They did that to you? Use it. Deuteronomy 9 and 1. They say, hear, O Yasharal, you to pass over Jordan this day, to go and possess nations greater than mightier than yourself, cities great and fenced up to Shamahim. A people great and tall, the sons of the Anakims, whom you know, and you heard, who can stand before the sons of Anak. Understand therefore this day that Yahuwah your Elohim, he which go before you as a consuming fire, he shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before your face. So shall you drive them out and destroy them quickly, as Yahuwah have said unto you. Speak not in your heart after that Yahuwah your Elohim have cast them out before you, saying, for my righteousness Yahuwah have brought me to possess this land, but for the wickedness of these nations do Yahuwah drive them out from before you. See, we just have to remind you of that. He said, you're not getting this land because of nothing about you. It's because these people were so evil, I had to get them up out of here. And guess what? That's going to be at the same token at the end. It's not any righteousness that you've done. What's going to be going on in the land at that particular time? What does the text tell you? At the end. Not at the beginning. At the end. You got that? What else would be going on? You look like you dazed and confused. You all right? You on a Percocet? And you ain't bring none for me.
Is you wrong?
I like Zanny bars.
We come back when this no
Marry,
give them the marriage.
Nah, but what's going to be going on in the land? Not only with idolatry, it's going to be all type of rampant defiling behavior going on, murders and remember what the man say going to be going on, man. People not going to stop doing.
They're not going to stop sinning.
They not going to stop sinning. So for the wickedness of these people, get what he got to do. He got to drive them out of there. Verse 5, Deuteronomy 9. Not for your righteousness or for the uprightness of your heart do you go to possess their land, but for the wickedness of these nations, Yahuwah your Elohim drive them out from before you, that he may perform the word which Yahuwah swore to your father, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So the point is not the people who he bringing in the land. The point is these people wicked, and he made a promise. That's why he coming to deliver you, because he made a promise. Ain't really got nothing to do with you as a people, no matter how much you want to convince yourself that that's what it is. This man is a keeper of his word, so he going to do what he said he going to do. Let's continue. Understand, therefore, that Yahuwah your Elohim give you not this good land to possess it for your righteousness, for you are a stiff-necked people. And here we go. Remember, forget not how you provoked Yahuwah your Elohim to wrath in the wilderness from the day that you did depart out of the land of Mizraim until you came to this place. You've been rebellious against Yahuwah. Also in Horeb, you provoked Yahuwah to wrath, so that Yahuwah was angry with you to have destroyed you. When I was gone up into the mountain to receive the tables of stone, the tables of the covenant which Yahuwah made with you, then I abode in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. I neither did eat bread nor drink water. Again, this is pointing to you why he said, if you be the son of God, turn these stones into what? That's why he asked him that. That's why he asked him that. Because the 40 days and 40 nights of Yahushua fasting is a parallel to you getting the words of the covenant to come back and bring it to the people. You have to remember what was Yahushua's whole objective. He was supposed to come and bring the covenant of Elohim to the people. Let's continue. Verse 10. And Yahuwah delivered unto me 2 tables of stone written with the finger of Elohim, and on them, according to all the words which Yahuwah spake with you in the mount, out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. Boom. Now you see how they go back to that? When did he say that this covenant was made? So what's written on them 2 tables of stone? Well, let me ask you this here. When did he speak to the people out of the fire in the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly? When did he do that? Because remember, we dealing with this here because my brother said, Shalom, brother Ellen. He say, man, I think the 10 commandments is in Exodus 34, right? That's why we're looking at this here. He just said, I'll read it to you again. When I was gone up into the mountain to receive the tables of stone, the tables of the covenant which Yahuwah made with you, then I abode in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. I neither did eat bread nor drink water. Yahuwah delivered unto me 2 tables of stone written with the finger of Elohim, and on them according to all the words which Yahuwah spake with you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. Does anybody remember what commandments translated to in Exodus 34 and 28?
Words.
The bar, words, 10 words. So when did he speak to the people?
That was an Exodus 21.
Well, let's look and see. It had to be verified. Let's back it up to 19. You're going to yah, and you're going to get whoop, whoop, whoop right along with them. Little cheesy boy. Huh, little cheesy boy? It ain't easy to be cheesy, is it? Mm-hmm. Exodus 19 and 1. In the 3rd month, when the sons of Yasharal were gone forth out of the... Shalom, Brother Lane. Shalom, Brother Craig. In the 3rd month, when the sons of Yasharal were gone forth out of the land of Mizraim, the same day came they, the wilderness of Sinai. When they were departed from Rephidim and would come to the desert of Sinai and pitched in the wilderness, there Yasharal camped before the mount. Moses went up unto Elohim, and Yahuwah called unto him on the mountain, saying, Thus shall you say to the house of Jacob, and tell the sons of Yasharal, you have seen what I done unto the Egyptians. I bear you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. Now, therefore, if you will obey my voice and keep my covenant, then you shall be my peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. You shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a Kadash nation. These are the words which you shall speak unto the sons of Yasharal. Moses came and called for the people, for the elders of the people, laid before their face all these words which Yahuwah commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahuwah has spoken we will do. Moses returned the words of the people unto Yahuwah. Yahuwah said unto Moses, lo, I come unto you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you and believe you forever. Moses told the words of the people unto Yahuwah. Yahuwah said unto Moses, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes and be ready against the third day. For the third day will Yahuwah come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And you shall set bounds unto the people round about, saying, take heed to yourselves, go up into the mount or touch the border of it. Whatsoever touch the mount shall surely be put to death. There shall not a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through. Whether beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet sound long, they shall come up to the mount. Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at wives. Came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunderings and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, shalom, man, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with Elohim, and they stood at the neither part of the mount, and the Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because Yahuwah descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and Elohim answered him by a voice. Yahuwah came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount. Yahuwah called Moses to the top of the mount. Moses went up. Yahuwah said unto Moses, go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto Yahuwah to gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also which come near to Yahuwah sanctify themselves, and let Yahuwah break forth upon them. And Moses said unto Yahuwah, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for you charge us, saying, set bounds about the mount and sanctify it. Yahuwah said unto him, away, get you down, and you shall come up, and Aaron with you, but let not the priests and the people break through to come up unto Yahuwah. So Moses went down unto the people and spake unto them. Now, I didn't read all that so you could catch the scene. Exodus 19, when he come down. Is that what you see? In the smoke of fire that you see in Deuteronomy 9? And then after that, he spoke them words. So we can see Exodus 34, but we already know this, because what's going on in Exodus 34? It's the renewal of the covenant. Why are they renewing the covenant? Because the people went up on the mount, and when Moses went up on the mountain, they worshiped another god and had the nerve to put Yahuwah's name on it to make it better. Let's return back to Deuteronomy 9. Verse 11. It came to pass at the end of 40 days and 40 nights, Yahuwah gave me the 2 tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant. Yahuwah said unto me, arise, get you down quickly from hence, for the people which you brought forth out of Mizraim have corrupted. They are quickly turned aside out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten image. Furthermore, Yahuwah spake unto me, saying, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Let me alone, that I may destroy them and blot their name from under Shamahim, and I will make of you a nation mightier and greater than they. So I turned and came down from the mount, and the mount burned with fire, and the 2 tables of the covenant in my 2 hands. And I looked, and behold, you sinned against Yahuwah your Elohim, have made you a molten calf. You turned aside quickly out of the way, which I commanded you, and I took the 2 tables of stone and cast them out of my 2 hands and break them before your eyes. So let's look at something, right? Let's look at break them, which is shabar, to break into pieces. Shan, Ba, and Rosh. Shan, Ba, and Rosh.
Cut off from the house of the highest.
Civic say to be cut off from the house of God. What say y'all? He said to be cut off from the house of God. What does anybody else have to say in that regard? Someone has concurred with his assessment.
Oh, see, the sun cut you off from the highest.
The sun gonna cut you off from the highest. I wish you should have did with that cup. Cut it off so it could be a little higher. Because you're looking like a granddaddy right now. You look like consumed by the son of the highest. Very well. You look like coming through. Hey, that boy, you got my check sodas. You definitely, I definitely don't want to catch you out. Definitely don't want to catch you around there. Go on here, jiggling your keys. Some sodas in the back, baby. Don't get you some.
Strawberry check.
Nigga invite me to their cookout. They got check sodas, nigga. We gonna fight.
Should be a good time.
That piece nice.
You said it should be a good time. That's how we know you from Jacksonville. They got check soda around now. Shoot, check sodas and Flanders, nigga. I had to see if you were paying attention. You know what I'm talking about? I just said, no, not the Flanders. Now, don't disrespect me. Don't you put that evil on me.
That make your check soda don't go down. It stay up.
The son of the highest was consumed. See, that's what I had to tell we had to do Michael like that last night. When that nigga said in the movie, man, that nigga say, no, he needs to know. He needs to know. That's what you tell a nigga. He needs to know. That's what people don't be wanting to do. They don't be wanting to tell nobody nothing. But when you look at that, they're right at that covenant being broke, like the son of the highest was consumed, because that's what ended up happening because that covenant was broken. Yeah. Let's take a look at that. Yeah. John 3 and 14, maybe 3 and 13. I bet he did reduce the price, dog back bastard. Funky back bastard. What I say I was going to
John 3,
13,
14, 13, 10, 9.
Woo, boy, it's hot back here, boy. Here come my uncle back here. She got all that black. You can make it 3 and 10. I don't know all that black. They ready to it. What's up, my boy? She got you back here with all these people. Oh, this here nasty. They ain't had no watermelon wonder. Never again.
She's still gonna drink it though.
Maybe not. I have no problem with discarding something I don't care for.
Okay.
I just gonna be like, well, I paid for it. I guess I gotta drink it. Hell no.
I buy nothing.
Shoot, straight up and down. I don't care what I done spend. I ain't gonna sit here and suffer through something I don't like because I bought it.
That bottle been consumed though.
I mean, they got drink the junk and go to try to deal with the taste. But that second go round, boy, I can't fade it, man.
You gotta top it off with the grape.
Yeah. What you want? Hell no. Nigga, that junk nasty. Yeah, I don't know. Shit, I ain't never been one to do that. Oh, I paid for it. I guess I gotta eat. I'll throw that junk in the trash, man. I don't go that far. Watermelon wonder. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Shoot, I'm type of nigga like this here. You buy me something I don't like, I'll tell you to your face. Hey, I appreciate it. I don't like it. I ain't gonna wear it. So could have. I'm talking about my cousin got mad one year, man. That nigga bought me a turtleneck. I was like, nigga, I'm not wearing this. Turtleneck's what?
I'm a regular neck.
Okay, get the turtleneck. Go good with your fragrance.
Nigga, I look like a turtleneck wearing nigga to you. You wear turtlenecks, nigga. Based on them turtleneck pants you got on, nigga. They hugging your ankles. You look like you wear a turtleneck now. Well, you look like a nigga who own the cleaning company right now. Coming in there, y'all get that stuff together. Yeah. Make sure you get that window sill. You missed the button. That nigga look like a nigga who owned a cleaning company, and he don't wear a polo with his company level like they said. Mr. Suit, y'all better get it together. And he walking in there, hey, get it together. You be doing them like that for real?
You got to.
So you do the
Definitely. Yeah, you do. Definitely ain't like this. Yeah. That's what the customer gonna do.
You ain't lying. Well, you give man some of these people shoot. Michael, no. Man, some of these people, man, you be like, you know what, nigga, I'll piss on your floor. You know what I'm talking about? Well, they come in here and find the most abstract thing and say this hasn't been cleaned. Or you told me you keep your money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look at you, got some heart.
She was like, she was saying that there was pee on the toilet and there was no pee on the toilet. She was like, you don't see that? And I'm like, I'm looking right at it. Ain't no pee on the toilet. You cleaned it twice. And she was like, what you mean? So you don't know how to clean? I said, you know what? I'm just going to take my stuff and I'm going to go. And she was like short on time, so she was upset about that. But I just got my stuff and left.
I ain't got no problem with it. I tell niggas go to hell real quick.
Tell me, the bus come in 15 minutes. No money on the way, baby. Yeah.
Come on, let's look at 3 and 6, man. John 3 and 6. Nigga got me bent, boy. I'm talking about, boy, you be doing them doggone, boy, you do construction cleaning, boy, they'll piss you off to the utmost. Because not only do they want that junk to be spotless while somebody in there working. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, it's just a mess in here. Well, hell, nigga, you got this nigga electrical nigga. He up here dropping junk from out the ceiling. This nigga's literally sanding the wall. This guy over here caulking, and you want this thing to be showroom ready while all these people still in here. Well, man, these nuts. Y'all don't know because y'all don't deal with them people. You know what I'm saying? Man, you done did enough construction cleaning, man. I remember one time, boy, me and D went in one, boy. Buddy said, just go ahead and cuss me out. Cuz wanted us to clean this junk, boy, and everybody was in there working. When I say everybody, I mean everybody. He said, yeah, it's not going to be a big deal. We got to get it clean. How? How is this even possible? You know what I'm talking about? But I don't care what it is. That's what I mean, made me think how some people be dealing with the word, man. You got all type of stuff going on, then you want somebody to come bring you some gospel and clean you up. How?
This is like how?
How? How? You got all this stuff going on. How I'm gonna clean you up? Make it 3 and 5. Yahushua answered, truly I say unto you, except a man be born of water, the Ruach, he cannot enter into the Malkut for Elohim. How was your fault, just for informational purposes, how was your forefathers born of the water and the Ruach so they could enter into the land? How was that done? Split the Red Sea, one of them. But then, how was they born of the Spirit?
Sprinkle the blood.
Sprinkle the blood on what? Who did that?
Moses.
You'd be wrong.
Okay.
That ain't what got them born again.
What is it in the Old Testament?
Oh, it's in the Old.
I was gonna say Ezekiel, you talking about getting my heart first.
Would you say him killing off everybody on the young people? Definitely want the same people.
No, it wasn't. He said the Spirit descended on Sinai. I had already gave you one half. All you had to do was come with the back half. I thought he said it correctly, but he said it wrong. Man, when they did Passover, because that was coming out, they had to do that by faith.
Oh, about Egypt.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking what I was
Now the water was the Red Sea. Them crossing the Red Sea. That's how they was able to go in. The Spirit was the Passover because if they didn't believe, they were gonna have to. They were gonna die. That's how they were born again. Remember what they coming out of? They were coming out of Egypt. They were coming out of sin to be born again, to take hold of the inheritance of Yahuwah. They were made a new creature. And remember what Yahushua son of Nun told them? Everything on the other side of the flood, leave that over there. That part of being a new creature. That was being born again then. But brothers don't see it. Because there's some brothers that tell you we ain't gonna be born again until the resurrection of the dead. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're born again at the resurrection of the dead, you're going to hell. You know what I'm talking about? You supposed to been born again before you died. But dudes don't even know what that means. How you gonna be born again at the resurrection of the dead? How that makes sense? Can anybody tell me how that makes sense? If you know how you born again, how you even born again in the first place? What's the process?
You gotta hear the word first.
You gotta hear the word first. But I'm talking about, remember, look at the question that Nicodemus asked. Can a man, when he is old, enter the second time in his mother's womb to be born? So how is a man turned around to be born again if Nicodemus was looking at it from the natural standpoint of how you're actually being born? And we didn't have this conversation recently. Then they say it was too hot back here. That nigga took his hat off and everything.
I remember when we talked about that aspect, we were talking about being born again of the word and niggas being weaned back by the milk. If you born again,
that's how you get born again. What did Peter tell you? Somebody find 1 Peter, right? Somebody find 1 Peter chapter 1. Is it chapter 1? Golly, nigga. You all right? You got cold? The flu?
No.
Common cold?
Some spices they got in there, you know.
Oh, that pepper.
Yeah.
That coriander seed. You like the coriander seed?
That monkey about that.
He don't know nothing about that.
So you want chapter 1 or chapter 2?
I think it's chapter 2, actually. You can go ahead and ride out from verse 17. 1 Peter 2 and 17, that's what it is. Drew! That boy Drew wild, man. We were tired. That Drew say, yeah, man, I done had a nigga tell me I'm on the phone with her. She like, yeah, I'll call you back. My refrigerator on fire.
Oh, she just didn't like me.
No, that's what he was talking about. He was saying that he had got done like that. It just was funny that nigga joke about that. He said something along the lines. Nigga told him that. Any of y'all done had somebody hit you with that line right there? I'll call you right back. You can tell when somebody don't want to be on the phone with you. Look at
He said, I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
I'm calling
Nigga said, I'm gonna call you right back. My toe bent back. Lisa looked like she done did plenty of niggas like that. Yeah, I can get that nigga off the phone. Nigga said, I'll call you right back. My booty cheek fell off. Nigga said, your booty cheek fell off. Yeah, I gotta put it back on. I gotta get my sutures. I'll call you back. He said she like to be on the phone. You ain't lying. That's what your husband said. Your husband. The man you married. That's his point. He don't want to talk. He just, what's the word we're looking for? He just entertains you. He said he guilty of such behavior. I'm gonna call you right back. My roof caved in. I gotta go patch it. Go ahead, man. 1 Peter 2 and 17.
We say, honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear Elohim, and honor the king.
This chapter 1 and 17. I did.
Okay, so chapter 1 and 17.
Uh-huh.
It says, and if ye call the Father, whom without respect the person judges according to every man's work,
pass
the time of your sojourning here in fear.
With some reverence.
For as much as ye know that ye were not redeemed with the corruptible things, silver and gold.
You weren't bought with silver and gold.
From your vain conversations.
Don't you know that you weren't bought up out of Egypt with silver and gold? See, pause. Little Johnny, help him out, right? I need you to get me Exodus chapter 15. You understand what I'm talking about? I need you to get me Exodus chapter 15 and verse 13. I just want you to see that you were purchased out of Egypt in regards to being born again. Because if it's in the text, then I guess you know what next.
15, Exodus 15, 13.
Yes, sir. Make it 11.
11. Who is like unto thee?
Who is like unto you? Say it like you mean it.
Who is like unto thee, O Yahuwah?
O Yahuwah.
Among the gods.
Among the gods.
Who is like thee, glorious in holiness.
Glorious in Kadah. Fearful.
Praises
and wonders.
Doing wonders. Thou stretched out thy right hand. The earth swallowed them. Thou in thy mercy hast led forth the people which thou hast redeemed. Thou hast guided them in thy strength unto thy holy habitation.
In your Kadah's habitation.
The people shall fear and be afraid. Sorrow shall take hold of the inhabitants of Palestine. Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed. The mighty men of Moab trembling shall take hold upon them.
That's right.
All the inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away.
Melt. Oh, pause. You hear how he say they'll do what? What said he gonna happen at the end? Who know what he said gonna happen to him at the end? You know, Michael? You ain't on top of your pen. Who know what it said gonna happen at the end? You don't know? No, he said the inhabitants of Canaan will melt away.
That's in Peter 2. We're talking about everything melts away.
Nah. Sean just hit it. Go on, get them Zechariah 14:7. Zechariah 14:7. Start at verse 9. There it is. There are 3 people who said.
And Yahuwah shall be king over all the earth, and that day shall there be one Yahuwah.
Matter of fact, just drop down about verse 14.
And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together. Gold and silver, and apparel, and great abundance. And so shall be the plague of the horse, of the mule, of the camel, of the ass, and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents as this plague.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass, everyone that is left of all the nations which come against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahuwah of hosts, and to keep the feast of tabernacles. And it shall be, whoso will not come up of the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King.
I think you might have missed what I'm looking for. Go on back to verse 9, man. They're running down. I'm trying not to read a multitude of verses.
And Yahuwah shall be king over all the earth. And that day there shall be one Yahuwah, and his name one.
His name one.
All the land shall be turned as plain from Geba to Ramon, south of Jerusalem, and it shall be lifted up, and inhabited in her place from Benjamin's gate unto the place of the first gate, unto the corner gate, and the tower of Hananeel unto the king's wine presses. And men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited. And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahuwah will smite all the people that are fought against Jerusalem.
What's that plague?
Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
Their flesh gonna consume away while they stand on their feet.
And their eyes shall consume away in their holes.
How is that able to happen? That's when that's the nuclear warfare. It's the nuclear warfare. What the law say about Yahuwah though? He a consuming fire. Man, Derek, go and get him Isaiah 52, man. Not 52, it's 51. Is it 51? I think it's 51. 51 and 4. Make it 3. 51 and 3. And we come right back over here to Exodus 15 that little Johnny got going on. They say Mr. Johnny, nigga. That's what they call me, nigga. I know you stay in the hood, so they call you Mr. Johnny.
For Yahuwah shall comfort Zion. He will comfort all her waste places, and he will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of Yahuwah. Joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and the voice of melody. Hearken unto me, my people, and give ear unto me, O my nation.
O my nation.
For a law shall proceed from me, and I will make my judgment to rest for a light for the people. My righteousness is near, my salvation is gone forth, and my arm shall judge the people.
My arm will do what?
Judge the people.
It's gonna do what?
Judge the people. The isle shall wait upon me, and on my arm shall they trust.
On my arm, they're what?
Shall they trust?
Who's the isles? That's the Hebrews that had the Gentile frame of mind. That's what they're saying. Go ahead.
Lift up your eyes to Shamayim and
hold on. Y'all better look out the window now. Lift up your eyes. Michael, you ain't looking out the window. Lift up your eyes to the heavens. Go ahead.
And look upon the rats.
Now look at the earth beneath.
For the Shamayim shall vanish away.
Like smoke.
And the earth shall wax old
like a garment.
And they that dwell therein
shall die in like fashion.
But my salvation shall be forever.
He gonna burn them up.
And my righteousness.
So there ain't no nuclear warfare, nigga. You're telling lies. Let's come back to Exodus 15, man. What verse you want?
Still not playtime. Stop.
16.
15 and 16, book of Exodus.
Fear and dread shall fall upon them. By the greatness of thine arm, they shall be as still as a stone.
Still as a stone.
Till thy people pass over.
Till your people pass.
O Yahuwah,
that
till the people pass over.
With whom you have.
Which thou hast purchased.
With whom you have.
Purchased.
What he did with them? Go and look that word up in Hebrew for purchase. Look it up for him. Tell him what it says.
Kanah.
What that mean?
That is to erect, create, procure, purchase.
Notice it say to create, to purchase, and to own. Now come on back to 1 Peter, man. Tell him what verse you in. I'm just showing you this here. When did Yahuwah purchase Yasharal? When they put the blood of the lamb on the doorpost, that's what bought it. Blood bought it. So that's why you got to be born of the word or the ruach and the water, or you can't get in, because that means he ain't paid for you. And you know what allowed them to be birthed? Because the seed was dropped. But we're going to get to that in a minute. Come on over here, man. 1 Peter, man. What verse you start that, man? Verse 19.
It says, not by silver and
gold
from your vain conduct.
Not by what?
Silver and gold.
From your vain conduct, but how he paid for them?
By traditions of your fathers, but by the precious blood of the Mashiach.
Precious blood of who?
The Mashiach.
Who's like a what?
The lamb. Without blemish and without spot.
So how was that lamb in Exodus praying? Sit to get him Exodus chapter 12, man, verse 1. I'm just going to make it plain, man. You're going to get some understanding. So you thinking this is by pointing it out, when all it's just showing you is that you were born. You can only be born again because he paid for you with his life.
And Yahuwah spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month unto you the beginning of months.
You said unto who? Unto who?
Unto you.
The world.
Beginning of months, it shall be the first month of the year to you.
He messed up, didn't he?
Yep.
That nigga messed up. Let's try that again.
You see who next to me, man.
Woo!
Hey.
Woo! Woo!
Why like that, man? That ain't right.
Woo! That boy said, let me get this up off of me now. I said, I wasn't nowhere because I was going to drop her off regardless. That was well played, good sir. Well played. I appreciate that. That's how you do that. Come on, Civic. Let's try that again.
All right. This month shall be unto you.
Under who?
You.
The nations?
You.
The world?
You.
Everybody else?
You.
Okay.
The beginning of months, it shall be the first month of the year to you.
To who?
You. Speak you unto all the congregation of Yasharal, saying, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it, according to the number of the souls, every man according to his eating, shall make your count for the lamb.
Go ahead.
Your lamb shall be without blemish.
Without what?
Blemish.
Without what?
Blemish. A male of the first year.
Of the what year?
First year.
The second year.
First.
The second year.
First.
So this got to be a firstborn lamb? Come on, man.
Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats. And you shall keep it in
Paul. Take it out from the what?
Sheep.
And the what?
Goats.
How you prove that the Lord was taken from the sheep and the goats?
And you shall keep it.
And y'all ain't answering my question yet.
I got you. He was the lamb, and then he was the
Read it again. You thinking too quick.
Your lamb shall be without blemish. A male of the first year, you shall take it out from the sheep or from the
You got to take this lamb of the first year from amongst the sheep and the goat. Ain't no scapegoat.
That's why I said, okay, go ahead.
Listen, we got to be able to do both. I ain't talking about no scapegoat. Because that's what somebody just put in here, the
That's
scapegoat.
what I'm talking about. That's why I'm quiet.
He said you got to remove the lamb from amongst it, so it can't be no scapegoat. Remember, right? This lamb has to be taken out from amongst the people. When they took him out, this lamb of first year without blemish that had to be sacrificed, they took him dead out there amongst the people, and they say, man, who you want us to let go? He came from out of month. You can sit back and let. He came from what do you call it? Nazareth or Galilee. Can any good thing come up out of Nazareth? This particular goat that was sacrificed was picked from amongst the people. Remember, he talking about a lamb that you got to sacrifice, that you got to go throughout all them lambs, and you got to pick firstborn lamb without blemish from amongst the other sheep or goats of which he came from. Yahushua came from amongst the people. He's the one who the Father picked to be that sacrifice from amongst all them people. You know what I'm saying? Y'all went to thinking about something else, you overthought it.
What's the other one?
He said sheep or the goats. You can look at the goats is they could have picked him up out of all these other people, and they could have picked him, but instead they chose Barabbas. Selected, instead of letting Barabbas get killed, they selected him and say, offer him up. Because that firstborn lamb without blemish had to be chosen. That means every other lamb wasn't firstborn, or it was firstborn and had a blemish. Or every other goat wasn't firstborn, or was firstborn and had a blemish. And we know all the people had a blemish because they all had what? Sin. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm talking about his actual birth, of him being selected amongst the people. Hold on. Get Ecclesiastes chapter 7 for him, Darius. Give me about verse 22. Indeed, and he is, and we working towards something, sister, in that regard. Now I want you to see something, right? Ecclesiastes 7:22. That's a little high, but it's okay.
For oftentimes also thy own heart knoweth that thou thyself likewise hast cursed others.
Cursed others.
All this have I approved by wisdom. I said I will be wise, but it was far from me. That which is far off and exceeding deep. Who can find it out?
Who can find it out?
I apply my heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom and the reason of things, and to know the wickedness of folly, even foolishness and madness.
Pause. That's why I be telling y'all about certain stuff, man. You know what I'm talking about? There you go. Saran mentioned Deuteronomy 18. I raised a prophet amongst your brethren. That's why I be telling, so you can understand the wickedness of folly. So you can understand how disagreeable certain frames of minds and behaviors is, how stupid it is. Come on, brother.
And I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth Elohim shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her.
Didn't we just read that with Peter? When Peter said, those that are clean will escape from them that are in error. See, there's a lot of brothers, they be complaining, my wife is this and my wife is that. Well, you might just be a sinner. You know what I'm talking about? You might just be a sinner. But that's another conversation for another day. Come on.
Behold, this have I found, said the preacher.
What he found?
Counting one by one.
One by one.
Out the account.
To find out the what?
The account.
Look up account. Tell them what it means.
It says, Hezbon. Account, reasoning, reckoning.
Reasoning. Reckoning. Read it again.
It says, behold, this have I found, said the preacher, counting one by one to find out the account.
So he want to find out the reasoning, the reckoning. Come on with it.
Which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not.
I don't find it.
One man among 1,000 have I found.
One man among us what?
1,000
have I found.
But a woman among all those have not I found.
We came here for her. He said, how many men did he find?
1,000.
One.
One have
one. How many sheep got you offer up for Passover? One. Out of all them people, how many did Allah? Hold on. Y'all forgot the verse in Isaiah 59 when he said, I looked for a man, but I found none. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Somebody get Isaiah 59, man. Pick it up at verse 3.
For your hands are defiled with blood.
With blood.
And your fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies. Your
lies
have muttered perverseness.
Perversity.
None call for justice, nor plead for truth. They trust in vanity and speak lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity.
That what's going on.
They hatch cockatrices' eggs and weave the spider's web. He that eat of their eggs die. and that which is crushed breaketh out into a viper. Their webs shall not become garments, neither shall they cover themselves with their works. Their works are works of iniquity, and the act of violence in their hand. Their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity, wasting and destruction in their paths. The way of peace they know not, no judgment in their goings. They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever go therein shall not know peace.
Go ahead.
Therefore is judgment far from us, neither do justice overtake us. We wait for light, but behold obscurity. For brightness, we walk in darkness.
Go ahead.
We grope for the wall like the blind, and we grope as if we had no eyes. We stumble at noonday, as in the night, and desolate places as dead men. We roar all like bears and mourn sore like doves. We look for judgment, but there is none. For salvation, it is far off from us. For our transgressions are multiplied before you, and our sins testify against us.
Our sins what?
Testify against
what
us.
Else?
For our transgressions with us.
We know them.
And as for our iniquities,
we know them.
We know them. And transgressing and lying against Yahuwah.
Lying against who?
Yahuwah.
Transgressing and lying against who?
Yahuwah.
Now, where you going to find that at in the gospel then? What does transgression mean by definition? Rebel. So rebelling and lying on Yahuwah. Well, you should know. They rebelled on Yahuwah because they rejected him. They lied on him because they brought false witnesses in. Matthew 26. Come on with it, man. Keep on rolling. You nervous? No. That's not bad. You the man on the move. Get with the groove.
In transgression and lying against Yahuwah and departing away from our Elohim, speaking oppression and revolt, conceiving and uttering from the heart.
Speaking of what? Oppression and what?
Revolt.
You know what oppression is by definition, right? Not English definition. I'm talking about Hebrew definition. Y'all forgot what oppression means? You might want to look it up.
Fraud, unjust gain.
Fraud, unjust gain. Also means to get unjust gain by what? Violence. Deceitfully gotten. How did they deceitfully gotten? Well, how did they oppress Yahusha? Because they paid Judas off to go get him and they lied on the man. And why did they lie on him? Because we're going to lose our place in nation. That's why they did it. See, that's oppression. You know what I'm saying? See, it's different type. See, we look at the oppression that we suffer here in this place, that you're getting done dirty by a group of people, and you thinking you shouldn't do me like that, you should love me. But clearly you don't read no history books. And clearly you don't read the own word of your God. Nobody who give authority over another is going to treat you as they equal. No kingdom, and nobody who was under you in the house of Yasharal when you were in the land were treated as your equal. They were treated as your equal in regards to judgment of the word, but you were above them. They did not have equal rights that you had because you could charge them interest, but you couldn't charge another Hebrew interest. Is that equal? You could sell them into slavery, but you couldn't sell a brew into slavery. And if you did, you had to do what? After 7 years, you had to let him go. You could keep the stranger and possess him forever. Ain't that what the law said? That offends people when they read it. What type of God agree to slavery? The type of God that create all things. You ain't got to agree with it because you got a utopia. See, I don't have a utopian mindset in my mind about nothing. Whatever Yahuwah say it is, that's what it is. I don't have any personal thoughts or feelings about any of it. See, a lot of people get caught up with stuff because they have personal feelings. So you wouldn't be no different than the homosexual that'd be like, what type of God would have a problem with the way I was born? Well, you weren't born a homosexual. You chose to be a homosexual. You know what I'm saying? You ain't born a whoremonger. You choose to be a whoremonger. You know what I'm talking about? You're not born an idolater. You choose to be an idolater. But it's easier to say that you're genetically predisposed to a particular behavior than to take accountability for the fact that you have an inordinate desire, and that inordinate desire has you outside the will of Elohim. So therefore, you would rather blame Elohim than to take accountability for your desire, because you can desire whatever you want, but you can't dictate the punishment from He who created all things. That's what you can't do. See, most people don't have a desire for Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? Indeed, it will not. But you should know that. If I took a group of people, now there was a brother talking to a sister about this here, because we didn't talk about it before. Most black folks didn't come over here on no slave ship. You know what I'm talking about? Most of your people came over here and owned people and land. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Most people, because like I said, we were talking about this the other day. Like most of you got land, and you know the narrative, right? That's your slave master's name, right? That's what they tell you, right? They hit you with this old cockamamie story right here. See, that's why it's Jack's son, because he was Jack's son, and that's a lie. Most of us came over here. You came over here from you. I'm dead serious. You ain't never heard that before, man. Man, you go get your old smarty art nigga, man. From back in the days, they may not do it now, but back in the days, that's what they used to tell you. That's how you get your slave name. You know what I'm saying? But that's why the Hebrews come in. That's why you got to change your slave name. Stupid don't even know. Probably your people probably were free. Because remember, captivity by definition does not mean slave. Y'all do know that, right? I seen a brew teaching that Yah made some people gay for the purpose of them remaining celibate. Couldn't believe my ears. I imagine. Y'all do remember what the word captivity mean in Hebrew, right? What does it mean? Huh? Exile. Captivity doesn't mean literal bondage. It means exile. It means you separated from God. So that don't necessarily. Now, when he say you serve other people, does that mean you're going to be a slave? No. What it means is somebody else is going to have power over you, and that they will be a benefactor of your labor. Does he not make that promise? In Isaiah 65, does he not say something along those lines? If I done said it, go on and get it for him there. Isaiah 65, man. Give me about verse 15.
And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen, for Yahuwah Elohim shall slay thee and call his servants by another name.
By another what?
By another name. That he who Baruch himself in the earth shall bless himself in Elohim of truth. That sweareth in the earth shall swear by Elohim of the truth, because the former troubles are forgotten, and because they are hid from my eyes. For behold, I create a new Shamayim and a new Arats, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind.
All right.
But be ye glad and rejoice forever in that which I create.
All right.
For behold, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people, and the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her ear. No more heard in her, nor the voice of her crying. There shall be no more vents, an infant of days, nor an old man that have not filled his days. For the child shall die 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed.
That's it.
And they shall build houses, and inhabit them,
and dwell in them.
And they shall plant vineyards.
That's right.
And eat the fruit of them.
That's right.
They shall not build, and another inhabit it.
They will not do what?
They shall not build, and another inhabit it.
See, since you've been over here, you've been building, but other people been living in it though. Come on.
And they shall not plant, and another eat.
Then you've been planting, and other people been eating off of you, right? You ain't getting the benefit, is you? Come on, man.
For as the days of the tree are the days of my people, and my elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands.
That's good, because I'm going to ask y'all a question. In Babylon, were them people in slavery? No. But they were under the authority of the Babylonians and Persians, but they weren't slaves. That's not to say that some of our people weren't slaves, but you'll find out if you dig, and I ain't even lie to you. You ain't even got to research that far. That slave narrative is grossly overstated. Grossly. Were you aware of that? Or you weren't? When I say grossly overstated, I mean grossly overstated. Most of us were not slaves.
Yeah, that's probably what they told us back then when they
They ain't even tell us that back then. See, the further you get away from history, and remember something I told you a long time ago, man, these people are intent on never teaching you real history. See, it started because the young lady I know got offended because a dude was saying that Harriet Tubman's whole story is a lie. And it is. Harriet Tubman didn't even exist. There was a woman whose name was Harriet Sutton, but Harriet Tubman didn't exist. There was no such woman who had any such exploits. You know what I'm talking about? And it's quite possible that Nat Turner didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? They take the stories and they embellish them. You know what I'm talking about? And they get, I told you this before, Rosa Parks' story ain't true. Rosa Parks wasn't the one who wouldn't get up off that bus seat. Who knows who it was who wouldn't get up off that bus seat? It was a young pregnant girl, 15 years old. But they said she wasn't going to be good for the image of the movement, so they substituted her and put Rosa Parks, this Eastern Star, and staged that whole photo op on the back of that damn bus. And shoved that junk down your throat. And it's a bold-faced lie. That's why I was like, when they were going in talking about Martin Luther King, she dishonored. Nigga, this nigga's a lie. This junk is fabricated. This is for the manipulation and the movement of the people. I'm not accepting him as a hero. All that junk be a lie, Mike. All of it. They be lying. That's not to say that a lot of us ain't come on. Matter of fact, it might have been more people left here by boat than came over here on the boat. Because they took a lot of niggas who was here and shipped them out. You know what I'm talking about? That's how you ended up everywhere. Remember what he said? He said, since you didn't want to serve me, you'll serve the nations and other gods in a land that's not yours. Now, he didn't say that you would have a great time while you were there, but I'm talking about that because don't you find it ironic that this slavery narrative for our people didn't occur nowhere else in the earth but here? Except if you study what they did, what the Arabs did. Because I'm be honest with you, the Arab slave trade, what is historically written about that was way worse than what's written that went over here. Because the Arabs are a little bit more savage. And you know why them Arabs did you a little bit more savage? Because they knew you. See, the white folk, they ain't really know you like that. You know what I'm talking about? Them Arabs, they were personal. You know what I'm talking about? They took a personal delight in destroying you. But, oh, yeah, a lot of that stuff. Because remember, right, do you not notice how a lot of us have Eastern European names? You notice how most black people have Irish, Scottish, and British last names? Because that's where you came from. How these brews be getting on here talking about dark ages and then all us were slaves? All us were not slaves. Most of our people were free. As far as slavery is concerned. Most of your people came over here free, and a lot of niggas would be shocked if they did reparations because you'll find out that your people own slaves and you have to pay. Yeah, a lot of niggas ain't ready for that conversation. You like this here? You like, what? You ain't know that? Oh, yeah, we talked about this some years back. My last name is Scottish. Oh, you still stuck on Harriet Tubman ain't a real person? She may have been a real person, but her story was grossly overstated. Mm-hmm. She the old Muffin Show did. They had her do old report on Harriet Tubman. You already got to look at a nigga named Tubman, and then they went and found the ugliest woman they could find to be her representative. 3 pages blank. Fake, and fake. Oh, you'll be surprised, man. You'll be surprised. A lot of the narratives that we receive and historically aren't true. I ain't got no problem with that nigga. That nigga just gay.
And most of black people that have they either or their family owns slaves.
Yeah, he was shocked by that. I seen clips of him talking about that. Old Henry Louis Gates had the boys on PBS, and everybody on there thinking they finna find out they were slaves, and they came from the western coast of Africa, and then they find out they British, and they people own slaves, and he sit there looking stupid. For real.
But I was reading that. They said that's why the abolitionists funded niggas to go down there and get people, because a lot of them was crackers down there with slaves.
Absolutely, and that's not discussed a lot. That's why that's not discussed. Because a lot of white folks were slaves back then. A lot of people came over here. They weren't slaves. They were indentured servants. See, they don't like to have that conversation because it doesn't fit the narrative of victimhood of black people. Most people were indentured servants, black and white. There were people who were slaves, but people weren't slaves like they purported to be. You know what I'm talking about? A lot of people just were indentured servants, and they had to work off their debt. And Saran mentioned that many dark age European monarchs were black, and that has been whitewashed. And a lot of us come from families of European descent who came over here free and owned niggas and white folks and possible East Indians. And yeah, can't forget the Aborigines. Owned all of them. And like I said, it don't even take much to find this information out. You ain't even got to look hard. You know what I'm saying? The reason why you ain't even got to look hard is because they don't believe you'll look at all.
Would that be the reason why, like, they're not really like pushing for the whole reparation, because it'll just kind of discredit like everything that they
to an extent, and Yahuwah won't let them do it, but to an extent, because then a lot of black folks will find out that they weren't slaves. A lot of black folks will find out that their forefathers owned slaves. A lot of people will find out that the transatlantic slave trade, though it happened, it didn't happen at how we were told it happened. You know what I'm saying? As I told y'all before in the book, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, they detail that. And if you do research on your own, you find it out. They don't want you to know true math, true science, or true history. So when you actually find out how these things are, you find out how grossly that you have been lied to. See, this is how ignorant our people is. You'll say they lied to you about religion, but nothing else. And like I said, it's not like what I talked about last night, but you got to go down the rabbit hole. You don't even have to look hard to find this information. All you really have to do is look. And you know why they know you ain't going to look? Because they want you so banded about your life and taking care of yourself and paying your $5 gallon gas and $8 gallon gas, and you got your fake milk shortage, and now you say they got a tampon shortage and all this other type of stuff. So you'll never have enough time and thought to say, you know what? Let me pick up a book. Instead, you're going to tell me about Khloe Kardashian and Kim Kardashian and Kanye West and a whole bunch of punk bastards that don't mean nothing about nothing, who don't nobody care about. You'll know more about them and the lies that they telling than the lies that you've been actually living your whole life. You know what I'm talking about? And that's true. And I think what his name is, what is his name? Napoleon Bonaparte said that statement. It's wrong to say whoever controls the present dictates what supposedly happened in the past. But Napoleon stated that whoever wins the war, tell the story how he won. You know what I'm saying? To an effect, I'm paraphrasing. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, they said the book was written by the losers, though. They told that what they told them.
No, not the losers. The book's written by the victors. The victors get to write history. That's what I'm saying. That's what he said. I just was paraphrasing.
No, I'm saying when they had
what book you referring to, Brother Francis?
I mean, the South. They said that the South people wrote the story. That's how they was. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, silent. Oh, you talking about Quiet Weapons? Yeah. Oh, that's not a book per se. That's a pamphlet that was found in an IBM printer in like 1979. You might still can find it online. It's not as easy to find online as it was 10 years ago. But I had first read it in Behold the Pale Horse in 2001 or 2002. Drew said you could get it on Amazon, Brother Francis. Yeah, it's not that long. It just gives you the detail of how they manipulate the population. But yeah, man, history is the story. Now, see, when you looking at what the South, see a lot of things they only, but see it's stuff with the Civil War that they left out because it wasn't about slaves. It was about money.
That's why they're going so hard about it. Like we legit,
they weren't even talking about no Juneteenth.
They make it like it's a big thing.
It have made it a federal holiday.
Years ago,
that's how I said.
Yeah, because you got to understand something. Abraham Lincoln didn't care about slaves. This is detailed in numerous books and statements that he made. He didn't care about that. He cared about keeping the Union together. He didn't want the other states to succeed from the Union. That's what he cared about. He didn't care about no slaves. And then also the part of the story is the bankers came to him and said, we ain't got no problem with that, but we need $2 million. Now you talking about the 1860s. $2 million is like talking about $200 billion now, maybe even more than that. I'm being generous. I don't know though. You know what I'm talking about? He was like, I ain't got it. Well, they were like, in order to get the bread, we got to go to war. And we're going to fund both sides of the war, and we're going to get our money. They don't care about people. They care about their agendas. They don't care about people. People is none of their concern. See, a lot of people think, oh, they care about white. They don't care about white people. They only care about their families and maintaining power. You can see that because these white folks in America are pissed off every day. Yeah, and they can't understand it because, of course, they bought the narrative that the country was made for them. But the country was made to further satanic agendas. This was and always has been a social experiment. This country was created for a social experiment in the minds of man. Now, the country was created in the mind of Yahuwah for a multitude of reasons known unto Yahuwah. You know what I'm talking about? But as forth as I done told y'all this before. Y'all don't remember the Virginia contract? What you remember about the Virginia contract? Y'all remember? Who know about the Virginia contract? If you're on Clubhouse and you know about it, raise your hand. If you're on the stream, let me know. Who know about the Virginia contract? Matter of fact, let me ask you this. Who ain't never heard of the Virginia contract? Look at you. I ain't never heard of it. I heard of the Virginia contract.
That's what they had with the British.
Huh? Yeah, and you can look this up. This is not something I'm making up. The Virginia contract was stating that the United States was always a subsidiary of the United Kingdom. It's under the authority and power of the Queen. She rules it. That's why they always pay tribute to her. Y'all ain't never paid attention to that. Why they showed you a whole nigga wedding. You don't know them people. Every time they get married, they show it to you. Look at you talking about, I be watching too. Boy, when Prince Harry got married, I cried. Dang, your mind smoke weed? Hold on, sister. Hold on. You gotta forgive me. I gotta still learn how to work this here. Yeah, man. That's what they did. So it's all a scam. Everything's a scam. Everything is a scam. Where we at, man? It's all a lie. Hold on. Go ahead, sister, before I take off. It's all a lie. Look at you. You're looking like your daddy. You're looking like your daddy. You didn't know you look like your daddy? A lot of people say you do. Who's a lot of people? You ain't forget. Now you look like your mama. Do a lot of people tell you that? Where we at? What we holding, man?
I think there's some Isaiah 65.
I'm done with Isaiah 65. Yeah. You finished Exodus 15. I don't need that no more. What you had?
Isaiah 59. That's what I was reading.
Keep on. I need to finish Isaiah 59 though.
That's at 13.
Isaiah 59 and 13.
And transgressing and lying against Yahuwah, and departing away from our Elohim, speaking oppression and revolt, conceiving and uttering from the heart words of falsehood.
Words of falsehood.
And judgment is turned away backward, and justice stands afar off.
Afar off.
For truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter.
Equity can't enter.
Yeah, truth fail, and he that depart from the evil
find himself to be a what?
A prey.
A what?
A prey.
Mm.
And Yahuwah saw it, and it displeased him.
It just what?
Displeased him.
Why it made him upset?
There was no judgment.
There was no what?
Judgment.
What else it wasn't there?
And he saw there was no man.
No what?
Man.
No what?
No man.
And what else?
And wondered that there was no intercessor.
No intercessor.
Therefore, his arm brought salvation.
His arm brought what?
Salvation.
And did what else?
And his righteousness, it sustained him.
It what?
Sustained him.
Go ahead and look up sustain for him, man. What's going on, Drake?
That is samak. Samak.
Mm.
Means to lean, lay, rest, support.
No support.
Uphold.
So he's saying his righteousness supported him. Think about that, right? Who supported Yahusha? Come on back over there to that 1 Peter, man. We still, only thing else we hold is John 3. Exodus 34 is just on general principle. We were good at Exodus 19. We didn't need to read Exodus 20 because Exodus 19 was the focal point. I just mentioned all that other stuff so you could know that these people be lying. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, she said her mind blown. Harriet Tubman wasn't real. Nope. Nat Turner, what? And guess what? Why do they have in common? Because they made movies about her. And they want to put her on some money. Want to put her on a $20 bill. And all of it is and it's not to disparage the thought process of freeing slaves. It's to keep your mind in the fantasy world to where you'll never be focused on actual facts. You'll never be focused on that. They don't want you focused on that. Go ahead, man. 1 Peter chapter 1, what verse you in? 19. Verse 19.
It said, but with the precious blood of the Mashiach and the Lamb without blemish.
Without what?
Spot.
Without blemish and spot. Now you see what we did. We went back to Exodus 12, and you seen that. And then we seen in Exodus 12 what you had to do with that firstborn lamb, take it from the sheep or the goats. That means, and what did Solomon say? I sought out 1,000 men, and I only found how many? It was only one man who was going to deliver the people. That's Acts 4 and 12. It's only one name up under Shamahim, which men must be saved. I only found one. It ain't but one, whether you take it from the sheep or whether you take them from the goats. It ain't but one that you're going to find that's going to be a firstborn male without blemish. And why is that important with the goats? Not the scapegoat. You know why that's important with the goats? You know what should have came to your mind? It should have been Esau, because Jacob was a perfect man, dwelling in tents. He ain't had no blemish on him. How we know Jacob ain't had no blemish on him? Because Jacob wasn't going to sell his birthright if he would have had the opportunity. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of stew. And say, what good is this birthright going to do for me? I already showed that he had hatred from Yahuwah. Because what is the birthright? It's the inheritance of dominion and rule with Yahuwah, and he despised it. And then when he seen he couldn't get it, then he want to cry with some tears, talking about bless me too. And what type of hairs did Jacob put on his body? See, a lot of people get caught up like Esau because you despise the blessing of Yahuwah for the pleasures of the flesh. Understand something, right? If you renounce your birthright, he renounced the right as a son of God. That's what he rejected. That's what he rejected, talking about Jacob. You can't trick somebody out of something they hate. He ain't want it. So if it wouldn't have been that day, he would have did it another day. Guess what? A lot of people, we didn't talk about it before. A lot of people want their sons to be athletes, their daughters to be entertainers and models, and you sending them right out there to trick them out their birthright because they're going to have to give up their soul and booty hole to Satan, and you sending them right around that corner. And you sending them right around that corner so you can live out the dreams of selling your soul in booty hole. Don't do it. And when I'm talking about your booty hole, I ain't talking about necessarily your literal butt. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about compromising your integrity and belittling yourself for fame. And that may mean a homosexual act. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm not necessarily talking about a literal homosexual act. You're going to have to devalue yourself. You might have to participate in sexual orgies and sexual magic and rituals that these false deities require. Because y'all know this, because we studied this before. 99.9% of gods in the earth require some type of sexual perversion and deviancy in order to worship them. You know what I'm talking about? And we don't like to have these conversations, man. Make people uncomfortable. But you know me, I don't care. You know what I'm talking about? You shouldn't be steering your children nowhere where you know Satan is at. You shouldn't be sending them in that direction. You know what I'm talking about? How you gonna send it? How you gonna tell the children about Yahuwah and then send them towards Satan and think they not gonna pick Satan? And when I say, well, what you mean? Because Satan is all, look here, right? If that child, look here, man, you got to have the faith that a Mashiach had. What did Satan offer him? He said, I give you all these riches if you do what? If you worship me. Well, that's what they offering. Why would you send them around there to be tempted like that? He says, that why porno is so big in the earth? I would say porno is so big because people are lustful. And it allows people to be able to get off on their lust. And also, a lot of people are sexually frustrated. Especially a lot of men. A lot of men ain't getting no buns, married or not. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like this here, man. It's a lot of multitude with it, man. But you have to remember this here, right? Yahushua's faith was so strong that Satan came to him to tempt it with it, right? Did he go to Satan and say, tempt me with some riches? What did Yahushua tell you to pray? To deliver you from what? So why in the hell would you send your children towards temptation? That don't even make sense. You gonna send them to temptation? They still flesh and blood. No matter how much word somebody may have learned, no matter how much word you've been taught, you still flesh and blood. Why would you play with yourself like that? Why would you put yourself in a position where you might have to reject your God? Because guess what? Everybody was boasting, LeBron James a billionaire. You have no idea what he had to do to become a billionaire. You don't know what he had to do. And when I say had to do, I'm not talking about nothing sexual. I'm being dead serious right now. I'm not trying to. You don't know what he had to do in order to attain that. If we can read in the text, go on and get that Luke chapter 4. Look what Satan had to say. Because the reason why we know Yahuwah ain't giving them riches, somebody get Yahushua, son of Nun, chapter 1, verse 8, and we'll see the difference if Yahuwah give it to you. See, there's a difference if Yahuwah give it to you, because there's a way that you live and behave. See, just because you got money, that's why Paul wrote, perverse disputings of corrupt minds who think gain is godliness. From such withdraw yourself. This man say, if you think gain, because godliness means faithfulness, if you think that being faithful to Yahuwah means you're going to increase in riches, that man say you got a perverse and corrupt mind. Because we know the text say if riches increase, don't set you what? Your heart on it. We know the book say, hey man, don't labor after riches. Ain't that what he told you? You know what I'm talking about? Paul told you what? He said a lot of men been destroyed through lusting after riches. He told you to seek after righteousness, godliness, faith. That's what he told you to do. Yeah, you can ask anytime, sister. Just go ahead.
When you said about the Virginia Act and how it's like we're still a part of a subsidiary.
Yes.
So I'm historical. Right. So all the stuff they taught us in school. Okay, what was the purpose of the American Revolutionary War? Y'all see, God didn't want to break school rules. They was imposing high taxes. So that was just to show people like, oh, we separated, but we still secretly entangled with y'all.
Absolutely. It was for money.
Right, but so pretty much, like, it kind of makes sense, like how we're supposed to be in so much debt.
Right.
Somebody somewhere got some money bailing you out of debt.
Right. Most definitely. And you know that most wars are contrived. Yeah, I would say 99% of wars that you read about historically were not organic events. They were manipulated and cultivated for the purpose of money.
Like, some of the most expensive wars that I think that the U.S. has been involved in, I think the most expensive one besides the Civil War was Vietnam.
Absolutely.
About money.
Vietnam was very expensive.
If you watch that at JFK, that was about phone companies. Everybody had their hand out. It was money.
Absolutely, because they could have won Vietnam and they wouldn't let them. because they wanted to keep making money.
It's a document. They signed against World War II, and then they can get Palestine and all that.
Oh, now we talking about now. Lil Johnny talking about what happened. See, when they gave the land to the what you call them people, them Khazars. You know what I'm saying? That was in 1948. World War II had already been done for 3 years. And that was the purpose of them fighting World War II, among other things, besides bringing in what you call it, the United Nations. Because when they fought World War I, they tried to bring the League of Nations with Woodrow Wilson, but he wasn't convincing and persuasive enough. You know what I'm talking about? It didn't work. And then before he left office, he actually stated that I sold my country out. And he felt bad about himself. You know what I'm talking about? But they don't be caring. These people be knowing they be involved with. It's just sometimes they don't realize the gravity of what they've done until it's been done.
But look what happened after that. After the League of Nations, then we go almost 10 years later, the stock market crashes. Then World War II starts. Then we get in it because of Japan.
That's right.
Then we get out of World War II.
That's right.
We start messing with the Far East with Korea.
That's right.
There. So then we get into a bigger one where it was Vietnam, and that had nothing to do with us. But then people got drafted into that foolishness.
That's correct.
And that went on for years.
I told y'all this before because I noticed this my entire life before I even got in the word. I've been alive for 41 years, and I've known that my entire life that there had not been a time period where there was not a war that was going on. Donald Trump was the only president in my lifetime that did not have a major armed conflict during his presidency. The only one. My lifetime consists of Ronald Reagan, George W. Bush, or H.W. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and then Donald Trump. And Donald Trump was the only one who didn't have an armed conflict that the U.S. was involved in. You know what I'm saying? When he was president, we was involved in the Iran-Contra affair. We was involved in the Iraq-Iran war and all that. Then when George H.W. Bush took over, that's the first time they went to Iraq, messing with Saddam Hussein. When Bill Clinton took over, they went to Somalia, they went to Bosnia. You know what I'm talking about? All that. When George Bush took over, well, you already know what happened. They went to Iraq and Afghanistan. You know what I'm talking about? And when Barack took over, he kept on messing with it. Yeah, but at Kuwait, they were protecting Kuwait allegedly from Saddam Hussein.
There was one more that you forgot with Reagan that I think is claimed, but people don't think about it like that.
Which one?
It was during Reagan. It's claimed, but people don't think of it like that. Think about the fact that all of a sudden after Vietnam and Reagan, now we in a drug war.
Oh yeah, the drug war. But see, I wouldn't call it a drug war only because they were selling the dope. Yeah, like my brother say, the only reason we don't look at it as a war because nobody was fighting back.
But here's the thing: the only reason they called it a war, they was making money because I hate to use the reference. If you see American Gangster, that was the first black man that figured out
But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you this here though. That story in American Gangster was greatly fabricated because people who was in New York were like, "Oh, Frank Lucas was capping. He wasn't getting work like that." All that junk was made up. You know what I'm talking about?
I told you you always said that was about him.
Yeah. Pee Wee Kirkland say that. He said that's my life. You know what I'm saying? And that boy was cap. But see, I only know that because we look at the dope boy. So I already knew before American Gangster came out that he was cap. He was a rat. So a lot of dudes ain't respect him like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's a whole nother thing. But do y'all know who coined the term the war on drugs? No, it wasn't Reagan. It was Richard Nixon, old Milhouse. It was Milhouse. Reagan started just say no. Just say no. Yeah, Reagan said I wasn't selling no dope. He said I believe we traded hostages for guns. In my heart of hearts, I want to believe that didn't happen. See, Reagan was senile, so they were doing all type of stuff. He didn't know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Nancy Reagan have a nasty part of the life. Who Joe? Well, everybody knows Sleepy Joe senile.
I was saying that's when the most dirty happens when you get on public. That's a real public right there.
Everybody knows.
You remember yesterday?
Come on, man. Let's finish this first Peter chapter. Well, I'm gonna pow your butt, boy.
What I say? Luke.
Oh yeah, get that Luke 4, man. Run that Luke 4. Luke 4 probably about first 4.
That's sleepy. And Yahushua answered him, saying, "It is written that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of Elohim."
Let's roll.
And the devil, taking him up into a high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms
of the
world in a moment of time.
Mm-hmm.
And the devil said unto him, "All this power will I give you, and the esteem of them, for that is delivered unto me. To whomsoever I will.
To whomsoever I will.
I give it.
I can give it to whoever I want.
If you therefore will worship me."
If you what?
Worship me.
Don't do it.
All shall be yours.
You heard that? That boy been in the South a little bit. Now you heard how he said worship.
Back up.
Look at you. I gotta get my accent back. We don't talk. Y'all around here, y'all don't say street. Y'all say street. I can't talk like that.
Gotta get back proper.
Keep it dirty. Dirty. Come over here, 1 Peter chapter 1, man. That's what I was looking at. I was showing D that the look at old dirty bastard eyes when he was talking about they trying to kill me, G. He said, "You don't see no smiles, G. Can't shake these niggas, man." But he was being dead serious, man. He said, "Man, what did you learn when you went to prison?" He said, "I learned the government trying to kill me, G. You trying to kill me." You know what I'm saying? He was like, "Man, George Bush and them niggas, man." But you could hear the pensive, nervous laugh. But the thing you had to look at was his eyes. That nigga was dead serious. You know what I'm talking about? And you know what's funny? They say he died from a drug overdose, but he had the same complaints that Kevin Samuels had before he died. Complaining of chest pains, and then he fall out dead. You know what I'm saying? Now, whether they have a toxicology report on Kevin Samuels or not, who knows? But they try to say that ODB OD'd on cocaine and a prescription opioid. But if you OD, what you walk around with chest pains for? You don't walk around with chest pains when you OD. You just OD. You know what I'm saying? You have to see, that's the stuff what I mean. They insult your intelligence. Because anybody, if you know anything about somebody overdosing, when you overdose, you fall out right then. You don't walk around, "I'm having chest pains," and then keel over. That's not how overdose works. You ever overdose before? You don't overdose before. Just not on drugs. Because I was shit. She had me shocked in the Paul last night. She said she done dated a nigga who been to jail. I say, not Michael.
Oh, yeah. You was writing kites?
Oh, you were writing letters? No. You said as soon as he got out. So I'm trying to see, was you holding a real nigga down while he was in there? Dang!
Oh, that's why he got slide.
So you ain't writing no letters? You ain't making no visits? You ain't putting no money on the books? You was a dirty nigga. Man, I thought you was a real nigga, man. Dang, Michael. So I get you a husband, he go to jail, you ain't gonna hold him down. You don't know how niggas get end up in jail. Niggas get locked up on false charges every day, B. I'm saying, all jokes aside, right? I done told y'all about Kent Hovind, right? They locked him right on up. Said he was doing a thing, robbing banks. Oh, that could have been Fritz Sprigmeyer. Man, Kent Hovind used to go around the country battling people, showing them that the Bible was true and destroying science with the Bible. And they locked him up. And they locked him up. Falsely accused him of a crime. Nah. Yeah, they locked him up. Fritz Sprigmeyer, I forget what Fritz was. Fritz was talking about a lot of masonry type of stuff. They locked him up. You know what I'm saying? They did the same thing to John Todd. Locked him up. Man, if you get to a certain point where they feel like you can reach a certain amount of people, they're going to kill you, they're going to lock you up. Like when Wesley Snipes went to jail, they didn't lock up Wesley Snipes because he was tax evading. They locked him up because he was telling people that they didn't legally have to pay taxes and showing them how they didn't have to do it. That's why they locked him up. You know what I'm saying? You can't talk like that. And he was bucking, and, you know, they shamed him for a little bit to make him humble down. And then he went back to being, you know what I'm talking about? You notice Wesley Snipes don't do big deal movies like that no more. The only thing they let him do was Blade. They let him play a demon. But his career ain't nowhere the same before he went to prison. Because he was, the reason why I know this, because see, I was on that in prison, and we seen that he was doing that. That's what they sent him to prison for. You know what I'm saying? Uniform Commercial Code, Secure Party. He was telling people you ain't got to pay taxes. It's a legal precedent. There's an actual legal case out of Indianapolis, Indiana, that a man won to prove that you don't have to pay taxes. They cannot legally compel you to pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? But that's where you follow what the Lord told you in Matthew 17. He said, should we pay tribute? He said, look here, man. He said, do people tax children or strangers? They said strangers. He said, then the children are free. He said, nevertheless, so we don't offend them, take one for me and you. See, he was giving you wisdom. Yeah, you ain't got to pay it, but the trouble you're going to get for not paying it is going to be greater, so you might as well just give it to him. Give it to him. You know what I'm talking about? That's why I'm going to say that. Why he said, render unto Caesar's what is Caesar's, and unto Elohim's what is Elohim's. Just go on and give it to him. You know what I'm saying? All them groups, we ain't got to pay them people. Man, give them people what the hell they want. It's fake money anyway. Give it to them. You know it ain't no money if you can transfer it on the screen. Come on, man. First Peter, man. Muffin Man. Hey, Muffin Man, I got some candy. I got some candy. I say, no, you don't. What did it say?
It said, who verily was foreordained before the foundation of the world.
Before when?
The foundation of the world.
That's it.
But was manifest in these last times for you.
For you.
Who by him do believe in Elohim, that raised him up from the dead.
From the what? From the dead. That's right.
And gave him esteem.
A what?
And he gave him esteem.
That's it.
That your faith and hope might be in
Elohim.
Seeing ye have purified your souls in the obeying of the truth.
Obeying of the truth.
Through the Ruach unto unfeigned love
of the brethren. Mm-hmm.
Love one another with a pure heart fervently. Being born again.
Being born what?
Born again.
Being born what?
Again.
A what?
Not a corruptible seed.
What's the corruptible seed? That seed that's in your wee-wee.
But an incorruptible.
Which is the what?
The word of Elohim.
Paul. Luke 8 and 11. That's what we came there for. So that's how you get born again. You get born again by the word. Remember we were talking about the seed fall in your heart, seed of copulation. Therefore, because of that seed of copulation, you got the wash, which means you get baptized. And there's your active line down that he got to give you your duty of marriage, like he said in Exodus 21. Oh, boy going to hell for lying on his man. See, that's how you get again. You got to be born again by the seed. Luke 8 and 10, if you would. The Bible study. You all right? You need a moment? Luke 8 and 10, let it roll, man.
Unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of Elohim, but to others in parables.
Parables.
That seeing they might not see.
Seeing that they might not see.
And hearing they might not understand.
That hearing they might not understand.
Now the parable is this.
What's that parable?
The seed is the word of Elohim.
Pause. The seed is what?
The word of Elohim.
The seed is what?
The word of Elohim.
Now go and get him Psalm 78 and 1 on the house. Joseph.
78 and 1.
78 and 1.
Give ear, O my people.
Give ear
to my law. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth.
Why don't you incline your ears to the words of my mouth?
I will open my mouth in a parable.
You open your mouth to a what?
Parable.
To a what?
Parable.
Come on.
I will utter dark sayings of old.
Dark what?
Sayings of old.
Y'all know what Ecclesiastes 13 say. Or 12, I should say. You know what that say, right? Because the preacher was wise. What did he do, Michael Glover? Because the preacher was wise, what did he do?
He put in order.
He put in order many proverbs. Come on with it. Go on and get it for him there. Give him Ecclesiastes 12 and 9. Lisa, you know what he said? You didn't know what he said. You don't know what he said. You wasn't even listening.
And moreover, the preacher was wise.
Moreover, the preacher was wise.
He still taught the people knowledge.
Taught the people what?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. The knowledge of Elohim. Some of you have not the knowledge of Elohim. I speak this to your shame. He said, he that is Elohim hears Elohim's words. Therefore, you hear them not, because you are not of Elohim. Come on with it, man.
He gave good heed.
Gave good heed. That means he obeyed the word itself.
And sought out.
Sought out what?
He sought out and set in order many proverbs.
Set in order many proverbs. Y'all remember the Hebrew word for preacher? What it is, Stanley? Coalesce. You know what a coalesce is? A arranger of sentences. That means, guess what? Every scribe which is instructed into the kingdom of Shamahim is like a householder which bring forth out of his vessel things new and old. Come on with it, man.
The preacher sought to find out acceptable words.
Acceptable what?
Acceptable words.
Good words.
And that which was written was upright.
Upright.
Even words of truth.
Words of truth. That's good. Now come on with it, Civic. And I'm putting John 3 right behind.
Which we have heard and known.
We've heard and known it.
Have told us.
They what?
They told us.
That's it.
We will not hide from their children, showing to the generation to come the praises of Yahuwah and his strength and his wonderful works that he hath done. For he established the testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Yasharal, which he commanded our fathers, that they should make them known to their children.
You wet. Go tell your mom to change your diaper.
That the generations to
come
come
Big Muff to change your diaper.
Might know them, even the children which should be born should arise and declare them to their children, that they might set their
That's good. You notice how he said, so the parable is, the seed is the word, right? You can only be born with a seed. See, some lady was on arguing with my mans about this here, right? The woman is this, that, and the third. I said, baby, ain't no life in your womb, baby. That ain't no disrespect to you. There ain't no life in your womb. The life is in the seed. The life wasn't in the grave. The life was in the seed that was put in the grave. You know what I'm talking about? That's not to call a woman's womb a grave. You know what I'm talking about? But there's no life in her womb. The man puts the life in the womb. There's no word in your heart. That man put the word in your heart. So you got to be born of the word. There is no life without the man, because the man is the giver of life. The woman carries life. The man gives life. All that's showing you is that Yahuwah gives life and man carries life, a.k.a. the Ruach HaKodesh. He carries that. A woman cannot give life. You give birth. That's the difference. Your mama ain't changed you. Yes, she did. That's quick. That's express service. Y'all understand that? She gives birth. She don't give life. The man gives life. She carries forth and gives birth. And there's a difference. That's why the text say that the children are the reward to the godly man. He gets rewarded with life. Yahusha was rewarded with life. He was rewarded with offspring because of his behavior. Against you, but as a man, if you married and you ain't got no children, Yahuwah has not rewarded you. The reward is not in material items. The reward is in a bountiful family. Didn't we read that last night? The abundance of your household. That's the reward. Jacob was rewarded handsomely. That's right. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say that Abraham wasn't rewarded handsomely, because after Isaac, he had a lot more sons. We just don't count them. Abraham had a lot of sons, but it was only one that mattered. It's not to say that Isaac wasn't rewarded. He only had 2 sons, but that was for testimony purposes. Gideon was a righteous man. How many sons he had, children he had? 70. 70. And of course, one woman didn't give him 70 children, because that would be tough. No, that man had 18 wives. 18 wives. That's what the text say. 18 wives. I ain't telling you to go get 18 wives. I'm just telling you that's how he produced 70 children. You know what I'm talking about? And then shoot, David had a lot of kids. Solomon had a lot of kids. You know what I'm saying? And there's more people in this text that probably had a lot of children and they just not spoken of. You know what I'm talking about? But I didn't take this here, man, because I said my man's was posting about this all week. About people complaining about having kids, how family ain't. That's why I mentioned that. The couple going in on it all week. You know what I'm talking about? Like, hey, man, y'all niggas be wild. You don't want to have kids. You don't want to have a family. This, that, there, and the third. People complaining about having kids. And he was talking about people in the covenant. He was like, how people in the covenant have these complaints? To him, it didn't make sense. And this is not, and again, this is a married man, an older married man. He done had his turn, you know what I'm saying? His wife is past childbearing age, you know what I'm saying? So this ain't no dude who just rambling, who ain't been married, ain't got no kids, you know what I'm saying? He like this here. It doesn't make sense to him. Because he's looking at it how the text stated. Like, why wouldn't you want to be a husband and a father? Why wouldn't you want to be a wife and a mother? He's like this here. Why does this society push so hardly for that? But we know why. We know why. Y'all know what the marriage and the family is supposed to symbolize. It's supposed to symbolize the kingdom of heaven. So, of course, it's going to discourage something that's going to represent the reign of Yahuwah. I just seen a dude say his wife left him, and it was some white woman in the word going off, talking about, see, we were supposed to be equal. Before the fall, we were equal. And men and women were never equal. The dominion was given unto Adam. There's no equality. See, say when Yahushua rose from the dead, it made equality. No, it didn't. He said the man is over the woman. He has to rule over her. But what do we know? He that ruleth amongst men must be righteous. If you're going to rule, you need to be just. You can't just rule. You know what I'm talking about? You have to be a just man to have dominion. But see, nobody don't want to talk about that. That's mainly because brother don't want to hold most brothers accountable for being unjust. Oh, and trust me, I know that. And I was trying to tell the brother that a lot of dudes don't want the responsibility of being a husband and a father. A lot of dudes don't want it. Just like a lot of women don't want the responsibility of being a wife and a mother. The first thing I see a lot of women say is, I lose myself in my motherly and wifely duties. You're not losing yourself. That's who you're supposed to be in Yahuwah. You just don't want to be that.
What are you losing?
No, a lot of them looking at it is, I can't do the things that I want to do because I have to take care of these kids and this, that, there, and the third, and I want my own life too. So they're not fulfilled in being a wife and a mother. That doesn't do it for them. You know what I'm saying? I want to do whatever it is that I want to do. Now, with a lot of dudes, the difference is they're not fulfilled in being a husband and a father, and it's because I don't want the responsibility. See, a lot of dudes get married and they think it's just going to be in-house coochie, and then they realize that they got to lead this woman, they got to guide this woman, they got to take care of this woman, they got to raise these kids, and they like, you know what? I just want to sling loose meat in the street. Straight up. Now, it is a lot of broken families and a lot of people broken, but I ain't going to tell you no lie. It ain't nobody's job to repair nobody. You know what I'm talking about? When I say that, meaning if you a woman and you come across a man who's broken, baby, it's not your job to heal him. He need to go heal himself. And if you still there when he get that done, then you go ahead. But that ain't your job. You've come across a woman who's broken, well, that's not your job to heal that woman. Because you know what's going to end up happening? You're going to drain and destroy yourself. And when that person become whole, they're going to leave you behind because they're going to look like what type of nigga would mess with a broken person. Okay, I got you. Yeah, see, and that's the thing. You shouldn't be the one who come in to make it right. That's what I'm talking about in the back end. That person broken, they need to go fix that themselves before they even go dealing with somebody else. Because you the one who coming in thinking you're going to repair it, you're going to end up destroying yourself. You know what I'm talking about? It is not a man's job to fix a heart he ain't broke, and it ain't a woman's job to help a man who ain't built. That's not your job. That's his daddy's job. You know what I'm saying? And his daddy done failed him. You know what I'm talking about? And this was something they were talking about on the Peep, right? They were talking about Puffy talking about he didn't want his daughter dating at 15. And these funky niggas on here talking about let your daughter date at 15 because she gonna do it anyway. And she gonna do it and get up out of my house. That's what she gonna do. She gonna get dead up out my house. Go ahead.
So, like, I get what you're saying with the family. So, I'm a single mom.
Right.
Now, trust me, I don't get help. I don't have no breaks. It's just me 24/24.
Right.
So, like, I never been my family's broken. But for the person to fix it, I don't want it to be fixed because that's not a man. That's a child.
Right, but see, no, what I'm talking about is I ain't talking about something like that to be fixed, because that's just an unenviable position that you find yourself in, whichever situation or circumstance led to that. Hold on, I can't hear.
I heard the Holy Spirit say, "You sure you want to do this?" And I did it anyway.
Oh, so you were just being hard-headed. So you were messing with somebody you know you ain't had no business fooling with.
And I tried to convince myself I could.
You did what the average woman did. So see, you got to take an L on that. But see, when that come in is you have to sit down and look a man in the face if he was gonna fool with you and say, you know what, I was a jackass. I was dealing with a man who was beneath me, and I knew I ain't had no business dealing with him, but I was lusting after him. And I convinced myself that I could make a negative into a positive. You know what I'm saying? No, I mean, because we had these conversations a lot. It doesn't make anybody a horrible person. It's just the reality of life that you can accept why you made a decision, what led to that decision. That's how you be better. See, where it come in at is when people deny that to themselves about bad decision making. But what I'm talking about is somebody who is mentally and emotionally damaged. It is not a man nor a woman's job to help heal an emotionally or mentally damaged person. You know what I'm saying? That's not your job. Because you shouldn't have to, if you coming in with a man and he's mentally damaged, you can't build that man up. That man need to go get himself right. You know what I'm talking about? If that woman, see, this is what they were talking about, right? How old were you when you started dating boys? You can answer to. You can go ahead, Bella. You can answer to.
Like my first official day, like
15, 16. I'm talking about when you first started talking about that's my boyfriend, or I'm going out on a date and I like him. Y'all holding hands, all that stuff. 16. How old were you, baby? How old were you in 10th grade?
About 16. About 15, 16.
15, 16. Nisha, how old were you? Stating boys. 13. Lord have mercy.
Come on, Felicia.
I was in.
I wouldn't care what grade you was in. Nigga, you were 13. How old you were, Monica? I'm talking about dating, not your first boyfriend. I ain't talking about the first person who deflowered you. I'm talking about how old were you? Didn't I say that to begin with? I said dating. Dating, nigga.
Boyfriend,
like you said, like not like
talking to.
Not sex.
Not sex. Meaning not sex. No, I ain't talking about your first. Oh, I take this serious. I'm talking about interacting with boys.
But when he was saying like not the first
no, we're not. I'm not talking about just sex. How old was you?
Someone's good.
How old was you? 18. So what you were doing all through high school? I know. I'm just messing with you. Lisa, how old you were when you started dating, messing with boys? 17. So you really mean 14, because that's when you were breaking out the burglar bars, right? What about you, Callie? Not your first official boyfriend, when you first started interacting and dealing with boys.
Passing notes in class. I ain't gonna lie.
Because we know a lot of women, y'all will cancel niggas out you didn't take serious and start counting from the nigga you take serious. Hold on. You said 13? Oh, I don't want that, baby. Deidre, where you at, Deidre? You said 7th grade? Nigga, you were 12.
10. Then 10.
What about you, Lee? I can't hear you, Lee. Hey, what Lee say? 17. What little muffin at? 14 years old. Now, the reason why this is a thing, right? Now, they were talking about this here, right? Why it's not good for a young woman to date that young. They say 14 years old. It's because you might get to 25, 26, 27 dealing with different men and you got 10 years worth of bitterness. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't even about the sexual part. Because guess what? You get your heart broke once, you get your heart broke twice. You know what I'm saying? Shayla say 15. Now, dang, Jessica said 12. Now, you got it to the point where you done had these many negative experiences with men. Now you're emotionally damaged. Now you're expecting this man to fix this emotional damage. You understand what I'm saying? And that's not that man's job. That's one of the reasons why you don't want your daughter messing with boys at a young age. Because it ain't even just the sex part. It's the part that it's because the dude she messing with at 14, 15, the likelihood of her marrying him is probably low. You know what I'm talking about? And y'all talking to each other. You're dealing with one another. See, let me tell you something, right? Anybody who you talk to in excess of 2 to 3 hours a week, and fourth is the opposite gender, you're dealing in a relationship with this person. You don't spend ain't no man sitting on the phone no 2-3 hours a week with no woman who ain't trying to get in her drawers. Ain't no man doing that. I don't care if he in middle school. I don't care if he in high school. I don't care if he grown. And if you as a woman are simple enough in your mind to think a nigga like you that much to talk to you on the phone, you are delusional. You are delusional. That nigga's on the phone because he wants sex. What the hell do you think he talking to you for? Because your conversation is great. This nigga don't probably care about 99% of the stuff you talking about. He hoping the longer he talk, the more he can walk. But you see, you know what the difference is? The nigga you like ain't got to talk on the phone with you for 2-3 hours. You gonna tell him come through. Now, see, when you're younger, it's a little different. But anybody, if you grown, especially if you grown, if you are investing that amount of time into a woman, boy, you in a full-blown relationship, man. Full-blown. What reason is this as an adult would you have to be on the phone with somebody 7 days in a week, right? 120 minutes to be on the phone with somebody is a lot of time. So why are you on the phone with somebody for this extended period of time? Just what are you talking about? Your conversation ain't that interesting. I can tell you right now, most men will tell you, I don't want to talk to this woman, but I need them draws. Man, I told you what that means said last night. Saying a good man is just a horny man with patience. Man, a lot of these dudes that say they good men, they just horny. They want some booty. And they'll wait that booty out. They'll wait it out. That's why I told you about that physicist dude. That's why that was such an uproar. Because he the corny nigga who know nobody want to get no coochie too. And they want the women to like him. Stop that, boy. Why you doing that? Does that look like that's something you're supposed to do? So why would you do it? Put that down. Fix your face looking all crazy and you dead wrong. You're lucky you don't get your face popped. Your snot box rock. Because you're defacing people's property. John chapter 3, man. I'm just telling you that because I was on my mind. Like I said, man, you got to think about stuff like that, man. You got to protect your daughter. One thing about a little girl, you got to protect a little girl for herself. Because little girls are rebellious. Especially when it come down to little boy. See, I learned this when I was young. Never tell a girl don't talk to a dude because she gonna talk to him anyway just because you told her not to do it. You know what I'm talking about? But you know what the sad part is? We get grown and you be like, you better not marry that nigga. In her mind, I'm gonna marry him some more. He told me not to marry, I'm gonna marry him some more. This got to be the right thing to do. Because why would he tell me not to do it? That's how y'all mind work. Clearly, this is the right thing to do because he told me not. Because if you really want to not to marry the nigga, go on and marry him. Well, it's got to be something wrong with that nigga. He telling me to do it. It's got to be. Because if it was, no. Because if it wasn't the thing for me to do, he would say, don't do it. Yeah. Go ahead. You can open your mic. It's the same thing with boys. I done told you that. So you don't want to teach boys to think that his manhood is wrapped up in how many women he can have sex with. Because then that's going to make him a servant to vagina and his lust. Any man who's a servant to his lust ain't no man. Go ahead, sir.
So the question was, like, I was looking at my own experience when I was, like, hanging out as a kid outside, and I was running with, like, the boys, and I was hanging out with the girls. So maybe my parents should have been looking like, nah, you don't need to be running with the boys that hard, because all of them, like, low-key was like you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you ain't supposed to been outside with no boys, period. I wish I would have my little girl out here hanging with some rusty behind boys. Man, I'm gonna punch her dead in her chin. But this is the way that you can make sure that them little girls don't be out here fast in the tail. You know what I'm talking about? You keep them busy. You know most of y'all was around here popping your coochie when school got out in the summertime. Because your parents was at work, you ain't had nothing to do, and that's when niggas got slow. You know I ain't lying. Spring break, Christmas break, summer break. You know what I'm talking about? That's when coochies got the flower. You know what I'm saying? Because you had it harder when school was in because you had to try to network it. Dang, Jessica said my mom let my boyfriend sleep over at age 14. Lord have mercy.
No, she said she up.
I was just thinking about what you just said. The boys used to bring them in, and I told them, my mom was like, oh, okay, so she going home with them. She wasn't thinking nothing of it.
See, usually the mamas ain't never think nothing of it. It be the daddy that got to regulate that. But if you want to make sure your daughter not popping no coochie, she got to stay busy. She got to be in activities. She need things to do. Because if she got too much to do, she can't think about giving no coochie away. She ain't got enough energy or time. She gonna forgot she had it. That's right. You know what I'm talking about? You know why y'all looking like that? Because you ain't keep you busy. You had time on your hands.
Free time escape.
Lie, because you were breaking out them doggone burglar balls. Man, your bulldagger sister told me she seen you. You don't know. She seen you.
That's right.
How you know? That nigga called me last week. What? Because she don't like you. Me and that nigga cool, you know what I'm saying? She asked me for some fashion advice. She said she need manly advice. She said she want to talk man to man. I said, well, when you become a man, we can do that. But right now, we'll just talk dagger to man.
Well, you get your jersey.
She got a jersey. You ain't got to laugh. Get upset because your sister a lesbian.
Got a jersey and the phone, bro.
Yeah. Right. All those aside, though, you want to keep, because y'all know that if your people didn't keep you busy, what are you, your idle mind, and what they like to tell you is what? You got time to think about getting into trouble. That's why you always hear in the hood they say what they need, programs and this, that, that, and the third. You let young people sit around with nothing to do, and they'll find something negative to do. You ain't never seen a group of young people with nothing to do find something positive to go do. You know what? We need to go volunteer in the community. Let's go over there to the old folks' home and help out the elderly. That doesn't happen. They go to find out you want to hunt? Shoot, why not? Want some weed? Let's go get it.
Steal some sex.
Hey, let's go steal.
That's fun.
I found some drugs, man. You want to sell them? That's what happens. That's what happens. That's what happens, man. Hey, even with the word, what that man say you need to always be doing? Laboring. He said, why you idle? You need to be working. Saran said he used to go throw eggs at cars just to get chased. That's what stuff that young people do.
Oh, yeah. That's fun.
You want a nigga knock?
Nigga knock all day.
All that type of stuff, man. You got to keep them occupied, man. Never keep when you keep yourself. That's even if you just not. I'm not talking about sexually. If you keep yourself busy, occupied with meditating on the word, occupied with praying, occupied with studying the word, occupied with your natural work, you ain't got time to sin.
That's right.
You ain't gonna have no time for it. You only got time to sin because you ain't doing nothing to win. That means you're wasting time. That's right. Kids stealing cars, splacking. What's that?
You're fasting for real, boy. You ain't gonna be thinking about it.
You can't. And if you focus on praying, fasting, studying, you focused on Yahuwah, and then you got your natural work, when you gonna have time to sin at? You too busy. But when you sitting around, I ain't got nothing to do. Next thing you know, here comes sin coming on through. Because here comes Satan tempting. You know you're bored. Shoot.
If you do well.
Temptation lying at the door.
Yes, sir.
Now get what you doing.
Leave alone.
Now you're around here looking sad. I have sinned. You had too much time on your hands.
That's a shame. You want to be the 10 late night.
John chapter 3, verse 5. Man. I'm just telling you what the Lord loved. That's the truth. All jokes aside, that goes for men and women. You know, a lot of dudes really get caught up like whoremongering, cheating on their wife because they ain't got nothing to do. They're not keeping themselves occupied. Because it take a lot of energy to deal with one woman, much less 2, 3, and especially to try to cover it up. That's too much damn work. That means you got too much, you ain't got enough going on. See, the only men who can do that is men who got a lot of money because they ain't got to do nothing with the woman. The women coming to them. Let me even say just a lot of money, a lot of status. The women coming to them. It take a lot of energy to sin, man. Take a lot of energy to sin, man. Energy that I ain't willing to expend. Shoot, nigga, I be just like yesterday, man. I ain't get in the house till after 8 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So guess what that means? I ain't got no time to do nothing but shower, preach, and go to bed. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't got time to do nothing else. I be wondering, some of these niggas be out here sitting, I be wondering where you get all this time from. He ain't got nothing going on.
Call him.
Call him. That's right. John 3 and 5. Yahushua answered, truly, truly, I say unto you, except a man be born of water and ruach. I know that's right. I said, heart ain't on sin no more. Can't be. He cannot enter into the Malkuth of Elohim. That which is born of flesh is flesh. That which is born of ruach is ruach. Marvel not that I said unto you, you must be born again. You see the difference? See how that line up with the law? Everything we were looking at. See that right? And see also too, all jokes aside, man. Somebody give me Psalms 119, man, verse 1, man. Somebody give me Psalms 119, verse 1. I didn't want you. Come here, Renee. Say, excuse me.
It says, Baruch are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of Yahuwah. Blessed are they that keep his testimonies.
Blessed are they that what?
Keep his testimonies.
Keep his what?
Testimonies.
What keep mean?
Where you going? The word. Where you going? Nassar.
Where you going?
That's it. Where you going? Nassar is to guard.
The guard, protect. So you're gonna protect his testimonies. Keep on with it, man.
And then seek him with the whole heart.
Seek him with the what?
The whole heart. They also do no iniquity.
They don't do what?
No iniquity.
They don't do what?
No iniquity.
So they sin sometimes.
No iniquity.
So they sin a few times.
No iniquity.
All the time.
No iniquity.
Can't be perfect.
No iniquity.
Can't stop sinning.
No iniquity.
Y'all know what iniquity mean by definition, right? No perversity. No depravity. That mean they're not going to pervert the word. That mean they ain't going to make the word be what it ain't. Start that verse again.
They also do no iniquity.
No iniquity.
They walk in his ways.
They walk in what?
They walk in his ways.
That's right.
Thou hast commanded us to keep.
That's good. But you know why they able to do that? Because what Psalms 1:1 say? Blessed is the man who meditate on your word. Don't get Psalms 1:1 for him, Lil Johnny. Let's see if Lil Johnny can keep his job today. Because he got his job outfit on. So there, he can get it in a second. I'm glad you remember because I forgot. Go ahead and run that Yahoo Shot Sun of Noon 1 and 8. The moment passed, but we'll still bring it in. That's it. It's just a word.
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
It says, this is the book of the Torah that shall not depart out of thy mouth.
Not out of your mouth.
But thou shalt meditate therein day and night.
Day and night. Look at the Lord. It still fit.
That thou may observe to do all according that is written therein.
Written therein.
For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous.
Prosperous.
And then thou shalt have good success.
Good success.
Have not I commanded thee?
That's good. See, that's how you get good success. You got to meditate and obey it.
That's right.
See, a lot of brothers don't want to have no good success. Good success don't mean God with you, boy. If you ain't obeying the word, that's what I meant. We can't say LeBron James got them $1 billion rightfully because he don't obey the word. And you know he don't obey. He show you in his face he don't obey. Ain't nothing personal. I don't know the brother.
On his chest.
That's on the chest.
It's on his chest. He say Satan is the best. You know what I'm talking about? That's no disrespect to when you sit back and look at it as a man, his accomplishments. He worked hard. Wickedly. Because guess what the book say? Better is a just man with a little than a righteous man with a wicked man than a lot. So he got a lot, but he going to hell. So as a person who in the word, that ain't a man that should be uplifted or honored. Because you know he didn't get his revenue by right. See, we don't like to deal with that. See, why you always got to say black people get stuff by the devil? Because he that commits sin is of the devil, you wicked bastard, you. He ain't got to sell his soul to the devil in the context of some Illuminati. He sold his soul to the devil the minute he decided to indulge and participate in sin. But they don't want to have that conversation. Remember, I told y'all that years ago. Dude be telling me, he sold his soul to the devil. Well, if you out here sinning, you sold yours too. So what's the point? Because the book say he that commits sin is of the devil. He say you are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. Be my father. Why you always on the road? I've been going to and fro in the earth, son, looking to whom I may devour. Be my father. Why you always on the road? I need to be led in wickedness, Abba. That's how they live it. That's how they live it. And it need to be said. Stop upholding them niggas because they famous. Man, bump all them niggas, man. You understand me? Them niggas enemies of yours. They enemies of your father and the host in heaven. What do you not understand? Give a damn because he black? You know how many nasty niggas I was locked up with that were black? I was locked up with black pedophiles and rapists, man. Nigga, I was locked up with Gil Yard, nigga. Them niggas still out here touching on children. Man, nigga, I was high. I see this nigga molesting children. I just got some rocks. How I get more time than him? This nigga hurt somebody. That nigga wanted this dope. You came looking for me. I gave him what he wanted. That's it.
Transactions.
It's transactional. Ain't like I told this nigga, you better smoke this crack. He came looking for me.
I was supposed to have with my children.
Straight up. You know what I'm talking about? You want to give me all this time, and this nigga here got probation.
Pat on the back.
A pat on the back to go right back out here and rub on some more churn.
That's all people.
I say, ain't this about a hoe? I say, I should get probation too, nigga. Well, I got to get 12 years. This nigga, and guess what? All jokes aside, and he got right back. He got off that probation. They put him in another church, and he kept on doing it. And he was doing it before he came to Jacksonville because he was doing it in Texas. That's why I put that article in the chat so y'all can see that, where it was talking about how the Southern Baptist Commission detailed how they knew all these men were around here touching on these children. And not just children, but also sexually abusing women and sexually harassing women. The same way I told you last night. Don't you find it ironic that now all of a sudden it went from 23 women with Deshaun Watson to 66? But not just up and up, the numbers. Started with 23. 23 is one of their numbers. Then it went to 66. That's self-explanatory. And then it come out that the Texans knew, provided the hotels, and gave them NDAs. Well, that's a full-fledged ritual, boy. These people playing game with you in your face. All we care about, he could throw a football, and they gave him $230 guaranteed $1 million. This nigga evil. Because one thing I can say, somebody can lie on you. 66 niggas ain't lying on you. And you know how I know this here? Because anybody in this room may have not done this here. When you find a good massage therapist, you don't change.
That's right.
When you find a good barber, you don't change. You know what I'm talking about? You don't. If you find a good tailor, you don't change. Now, women, y'all are changing. I don't like the way she looked at me. I'm getting a new nail tech. That's what y'all like to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, yep, I did it last week.
I want a new experience.
See, that's the thing. Men ain't gonna be no. See, men, once they find somebody and you good at what you do, I ain't going nowhere else. Because for what? I'm locked in. Look here, man. That nigga Corey been cutting my hair since I was 13 years old. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about at Spring Park on the yellow electrical box. You know what I'm talking about? And if Corey couldn't, now there was other niggas in the neighborhood, but we didn't know all these niggas, right? If Corey couldn't cut my hair, I could go down there to Mr. Wayne. You know what I'm talking about? I could go see Mr. Taylor. You know what I'm talking about? These niggas still in the neighborhood. I still know these niggas. My nigga Reggie could do it. You know what I'm saying? When I was locked up, Reggie cut me with the comb and the razor, nigga, crispy every single solitary time. But like I say, Corey been cutting my hair since I was a jit. I'm not finna be randomly looking for another barber. That nigga gotta die or quit. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas only go to other barber when their regular barber is not available and they still nervous. Because this nigga, because of your regular barber, he know your head, all the shapes, the divots, you know what I'm saying? The bumps, all that junk. That nigga, he know all that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, the dude that tailored my suit for the wedding, that's the only nigga gonna tailor my clothes. Black dude right on Beach Boulevard. I ain't going to no other tailor for nothing. For what? He got it right the first time. I'm good. I'm going to rock with it. I went to the chiropractor the other day. If them niggas is able to adjust my lower back that I can run, I'm not going to go see another chiropractor. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't going to do it.
Hey, what age you start going to the chiropractor?
Shoot, 17. Really, that doesn't depend on injuries. Like for me, since I live waste, I should have been seeing the chiropractor. But see, for me, like he gave me the initial thing, and because I told him, I said I got a pelvic tilt. Like I already know I got a pelvic tilt, and he seen my left leg is weaker than the right, and he said that might contribute to the lower back pain. You know what I'm talking about? And then he was like, well, squat for me real quick. And when he said it, I already knew it because I drift to the right. Like when I squat, my body leans right because leans to the dominant leg. You know what I'm saying? And I done caught that plenty of times squatting. You know what I'm saying? Body drifting. You know what I'm talking about? But that's because I'm quad dominant and my hamstrings is not as strong as the quads, which leads to the imbalance. So I already knew all that from just dealing with personal training. That junk lead to the imbalance. And then when you have a muscle imbalance, that junk can cause injuries all throughout your body. You know what I'm saying? So we supposed to go around there. All I'm trying to do is run. See, I can't run. You know what I'm talking about? Like them niggas, you think I would captain, like, come play, like, nigga, I can't run, nigga. Nigga, that jump hurts a lot. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all don't be knowing it. Y'all done see it sometimes. I be squatting down, nigga, my whole lower back, hamstrings, glutes, and all that junk be excruciating. You know what I'm talking about? I've been dealing with that jump for 6 years, man. Nigga, that jump hurt. You talking about running?
You boy Ronnie Colby, that boy all jacked up.
Yeah. See, he had next. See, Ronnie Colby got hurt because that boy was deadlifting massive amounts of weight, squatting massive amounts of weight. Like this nigga squat 900 pounds for reps. This nigga deadlifting 800-900 pounds for reps. Tore his whole neck up. You know what I'm saying? Lower back, all that junk messed up. You know what I'm saying? I do moderate weight now. I ain't even do all that heavy. I'm too old for it now. Absolutely. We're gonna see how that junk work. I didn't want to and they say, so you're here from the jet, crack all of it, man. Dang, that boy said I pulled my left glute raking last week, man. It wasn't nice. Man, I done hurt my back deadlifting more time than you can. I done had this injury for 6 years, man. Hey, I ain't gonna tell you no lie though, man. You could do something and have too sudden of a movement, strain it. Boy, you can strain the muscle, especially the older you get, boy, you can strain the muscle real quick, faster than you think. Boy, it been plenty of times where I done had a false move and boy, and barely didn't strain my groin. I'm talking about at all manner of ages, boy. Man, injuries come fast and hard, and they suck too. Come on around here, man. John 3:8. The wind blow where it lists, and to hear the sound thereof. But you cannot tell whence it cometh, where it goes. So is everyone that is born of the Ruach. Nicodemus answered and said unto him, how can these things be? What I would ask you to read. Yeah, Psalm 1:1 real quick.
What? Blessed is the man that walk not in the counsel of the ungodly.
Walk not in the counsel of the ungodly.
Nor standeth in the way of sinners.
Don't stand with sinners.
Nor sit in the seat of the scornful.
Not with the scornful either.
But his delight in the law of Yahuwah, and in his law do he meditate
day and night. And what he gonna be like? The tree of life.
He shall be like a tree planted.
That's good. He gonna be like the tree of life. See, if your mind is on the word day and night, ain't no way you can get outside of it. Come here, Abigail. Say, excuse me, Abigail. What you doing? What you doing?
Was it right? It's on that show.
I got it.
Send them the word like
Take it back. 3:9. John 3:9. Go ahead. Nicodemus answered and said unto him, how can these things be? Yahushua answered and said unto him, are you a master of Yasharal? And know not these things? Truly I say unto you, we speak that we do know and testify that we have seen. You receive not our witness. I've told you earthly things and you believe not. How shall you believe if I tell you heavenly things? No man have ascended up to Shamahim, but he that come down from Shamahim, the son of Adam, which is in Shamahim. Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness. Even so must the Son of Man be lifted up, that whosoever believe in him should not perish, but have eternal life. You see what the whole goal was? The objective was not for you to perish in Egypt. It was for you to have life. The only way that can happen is if you receive that seed. That's what he was bringing them in the wilderness for, did he not? What he told them to do in Deuteronomy 30. I said before you what? Blessing and curses, life and death. Therefore choose what? That was the same thing he's telling you, but we choose death. So guess what he had to do? He had to disannul the vision that you had with the grave. Because see, we like lies. Saran said he 36 years. He said he a builder. He feeling the wear and tear on his body. See, that's where you end up happening. If you done did a lot of stuff and you done tore your body down, the older you get, you can feel it. You can feel it. I would say this here. If you work out regularly, you should probably see a masseuse every 3 months and maybe a chiropractor twice a year. Because I think that's what they recommend. They definitely, just to get the doggone toxins out your tissue and all that junk. Because basically when you lift weights, you tearing up muscle tissue. You know what I'm saying? So it's toxins and all that type of stuff from the torn tissue, and you want to get all that junk out. Yeah. I'm supposed to go back Wednesday for them to tell me what them x-rays said. Come on back to Exodus 34. Oh, no, I was actually dealing with something else. Not Exodus 34. Come over here to 2 Chronicles chapter 5. Because I wanted y'all to see where it talked about the tables of stone. Five and 3. Or 5 and 2, I guess. Yeah, this chiropractor might work for me because it's more dealing with athletes. And I'd rather go with a chiropractor that deal with athletes. You got your mask. You got your mask? 2 Chronicles 5:2. Then Solomon assembled the elders of Yasharal, all the heads of the tribes, the chief of the fathers unto the sons of Yasharal, unto Jerusalem, to bring up the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah out of the city of David, which is Zion. Wherefore all the men of Yasharal assembled themselves unto the king in the feast, which was in the 7th month. Which feast was this? This is Tabernacles. And all the elders of Yasharal came, and the Levites took up the ark. Why is this important? Because that's when the house of Elohim would be rebuilt for the 3rd time. See, don't let the people tell you, the beast's going to rebuild the temple. They're going to have a 3rd temple. We don't care nothing about that. That ain't the temple Yahuwah built. Care nothing about no temple no man building. The last temple that Yahuwah going to be built on tabernacles. How do we know this? Somebody give me Amos 9:9. What you doing? Like you're tearing it up. Little muffineer. Amos 9:9. Brother Ellis, I'm trying to find out how I can invite you in, and I might have to do it later.
It says, behold, the eyes of Yahuwah Elohim are upon the sinful kingdom.
Upon the what?
Oh my God, I started at 8.
You can start, that's fine.
It says, I will destroy it from off the face of the earth.
Off the face of the earth.
Saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, said Yahuwah.
Say Yahuwah.
For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations.
All nations.
Like as corn is sifted in the sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword.
By the sword.
Which say the devil, which say the evil shall not overtake
or befall us,
nor prevent us. It says, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen.
The tabernacle of who?
Of David.
That is what?
That is fallen. And close up the breaches thereof.
Close up the what?
The breaches.
Ain't that what they were doing when they were rebuilding the temple in 2 Kings 12? Come on, man.
And I will raise up his ruins.
Raise up his what?
His ruins.
Oh, this time by the Lord resurrected from the dead. He said, destroy this house, and he'll do what? In how many days? Up against the 3rd day. That's when the covenant get made. Ain't that what he told him in Exodus 19? There it is. Now you know why he rose from the dead on the 3rd day and how he renewed the covenant with many in the midst of the week. Ain't he got killed on no Wednesday, resurrected. Just don't make no sense. But you see how the word works? Now come on with that. Keep on with it, man.
It says, and I will build it as the days of old.
As the what?
As the days of old. It says that they may possess the remnant of Edom.
Paul, remember what he told you in the book of Haggai about his temple? He said the esteem of the latter house will be better than the former house. Ain't that what he said? There was something else in my mind. Y'all willing, it'll come back to mind. That's all good. Oh, yeah. We talking about the covenant. Go and give them Exodus 24, man. I know we talk about Exodus because this is going to be our last day talking about this here. Sit flat on your butt before it get cut. You got a problem, Amarai? You got an issue? What you looking sad for? You over there doing stuff you ain't got no business muffin near? Yeah. You get your butt, don't say nothing.
Bigger than blue.
Exodus 24:1, man, let it run.
And he said unto Moses, come up unto Yahuwah.
Come up under who?
Come up to Yahuwah.
That's right.
Thou and Aaron.
And who?
Nadab. Abihu. And the 70 of the elders of Yasharal that worship ye afar off. And Moses alone shall come near Yahuwah, but they shall not come nigh, neither shall the people go up with him.
They ain't gonna go.
And Moses came and told the people all the words of Yahuwah and all the judgment.
Told them what?
All the judgment.
Ain't that what Yahushua did? Come on.
And all the people answered with one voice.
One what?
One voice.
What they said?
And they said all the words which Yahuwah has said.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it. And Moses wrote all the words of Yahuwah and rose up early in the morning and built an altar under
He did
the
what?
hill.
This is what we talked about on this thing on too when we jumped on here. He said he rose up when?
He rose up early in the morning.
And did what?
Building an altar.
And what else he did?
Under the hill, according to the 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Yasharal.
How that relate to the gospel, Kalisha? Make sure you listen. You weren't listening. Michael, you better help out, because if you get it wrong, you're both going in the backyard with the dog. Oh, he back there. Buried underground. Oh, he back there. You can join him too. It looks like we're going to have 3 barrels today. How so, Saran? How so? We having 3 barrels today. Amariah, Michael, and Kalisha. Y'all going back there with Pablo.
Pablo. Shot.
Now you got to get shot. You rolling your eyes? If you were paying attention, you would know.
I don't know.
You talking about you don't do it? It don't matter. I'm gonna get your eyes right. They ain't gonna never move ever again. They just gonna be like this here. They gonna be like, can you follow me? I gotta turn the whole head. There it is. See, Saran might have been on there with y'all. Look at the first part. He rose up when?
Early in the morning.
What that is? Matthew 28. Early in the morning. You forgot about that? That was your song. I heard your mama like to play. Oh, you don't know about Charlie? Last name Wilson?
I was about to say.
Rising up early in the morning to find him another love. I thought you knew about the Gap Band. Keep looking like that, nigga. I got my eye. Hit you with this slide. Nothing near. Move away from her. She marked.
Come on, man.
All jokes aside. Early in the morning, he rose. What is the altar? He is the altar. You know what I'm talking about? What are those 12 pillars? The apostles are the 12 pillars. And what do you see them 12 pillars being laid at? Moses laid 12 pillars in another place. Let's continue. Exodus 24.
It said he sent young men of the children of Yasharal, which offered burnt offering and sacrificed peace offering.
Friendship alliance
of oxen unto Yahuwah.
Oxen.
And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins. And half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar.
On the what?
On the altar.
We know Mashiach was covered in blood. How do we know he covered in blood? Because of Amasa. You remember Amasa? Hit in the 5th rib, fell in the street, wallowed in his own blood. Come on with it.
It says that he took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience.
He took the what?
The book of the covenant.
There wasn't no book of the covenant then. So guess what that means? He had to take them tables of stone.
And he read it in the audience of the people. And they said, all that Yahuwah have said, we will do and be obedient.
And what?
Be obedient.
Oh, we going to believe it. Come on.
And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and behold, and said, behold, this is the blood of the covenant which Yahuwah have made with you concerning all these words.
See how you get the 2 things of Ruach and water? The Ruach was that word. He read that covenant in their face. The words that I speak unto you, they are Ruach and they are life. You know what I'm talking about? So you see that, right? You see how that works?
All right.
Come on, keep on rolling with it, man.
It said, then went up Moses, Aaron.
See, Paul, this is also the other key thing that we're going to see, that we know what was read in Exodus 20 is the covenant, because he said he read the covenant in the audience of the people. In Exodus 34, he's renewing the covenant because he's told him to make 2 tables of stone like unto the first, which was broken, like we read in Deuteronomy 9, because the people had worshiped another God. Where we at? Where we need to be? Let's come back to 2 Chronicles chapter 5. So one of y'all pick it up at verse 3 one more time, man. What did you say?
It said, wherefore all the men of Yasharal assembled themselves unto the king, and the feast which it was on the 7th month.
7th month.
And all the elders of Yasharal came, and the Levites took up the ark.
Took up the ark.
And they brought up the ark.
Brought it up.
In the tabernacle of the congregation.
Tabernacle of the congregation.
And all the Kodesh vessels.
All the vessels.
That that were in the tabernacle.
In the tabernacle.
These did the priests and the Levites bring up.
That's what they brought.
Also King Solomon and all the congregation of Yasharal that were assembled unto him before the ark sacrificed sheep and oxen, which could not be numbered, which could not be told nor numbered for multitude. And the priest brought in the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah unto the place to the oracle of the house, and the most Kadash, under the wings of the cherubim. For the cherubim spread forth their wings over the place of the ark, and the cherubims covered the ark and the stays thereof above.
That's it.
And they threw out the stays that were at the ends of the stage. They were seen from the ark before the oracle. No, but they were not seen without. And there it is unto this day.
Come on.
Nothing in the ark.
There's nothing in the ark
save two tables, which Moses put therein in Horeb when Yahuwah made a covenant with the children of Yasharal.
Pause. I want y'all to go look at something right. I want y'all to look right now. If you're reading the book right now, how is regular script or is it in a tablet? So go ahead and look up and see what's actually there.
Mine say Eve.
Say who?
Eve.
Adverb or preposition.
Made.
So bump in, you know what mine said? Just Yahuwah. Just Yahuwah. So Yahuwah made him. That's what he's telling you. But you know what that means? That Yahuwah is the covenant. Now, how can we know that Yahuwah is the covenant? Because it was written with the finger of Elohim. It was the work of Elohim. Guess what that takes us back to when we deal with Yahushua? Take, drink. This is my blood, which shed for many for the New Testament, for the remission of sins. Because Yahuwah is the covenant. But remember, right? Look what they call it. The ark of the what? And the covenant is what he told them in Exodus 20. That was the opening salvo of the agreement. These are the 10 words that you're going to agree to. Everything else come up off of that. But these are the 10 words that you're going to agree to. So we know Exodus 34 can't be it because he's redoing it. They had already broken it. See, we didn't hit the Exodus 17 like we did that day. Go ahead and run Exodus 17. Man, what we was at there is when we read. You know what we read it at. Just tell them the verse when you get it. Roofy roof.
Probably started roof. Probably started at 8.
Exodus 17 and 8.
It says then the Amalek fought with Israel.
Amalek fought with Yasharal. Rephidim.
And Moses said unto Joshua, choose us out the men and go fight with Amalek tomorrow.
Choose out men to go fight with Amalek.
Tomorrow, and I will stand on top of the hill.
Stand on top of the what?
On top of the hill.
And where was Mashiach standing on the top of? And who was he going to fight? Amalek. And who was Amalek? The devil. Come on.
It says, with the rod of Elohim in my hand.
With the what?
With the rod of Elohim.
So what is the rod symbolic of? Authority. He gonna fight against Satan with the authority of God. Come on.
And Joshua did as Moses had said to him and fought with Amalek.
He fought him.
And Moses and Aaron and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass.
You see how many people went over to the top of the hill? So guess what? That's how you know what that's pointing to. How many people was on the top of the hill with the Lord?
10 and a 2 mile factor.
10 and a 2 mile factor. 3 men, just the same. Come on with it.
And it came to pass when Moses held up his hand, Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed.
Now, why is his hand going down? Because he's getting a little weary, getting a little weak. Come on.
But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on one side and the other on the other side.
That's it.
And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun.
To the going when?
To the going down of the sun.
And then guess what? Once the battle won, he can do what? He can let his hand down and take his rest. Go ahead.
And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in the book and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek under Shamayim.
And guess what Satan did? Well, guess what happened to Satan? He put in what? He gonna put Satan remembrance from under heaven. Ain't that what he gonna do? You ain't gonna remember the devil no more. Why would you do that? Ain't gonna be no point. You know why that's important? Because what we read in what? What that was we read earlier. In Isaiah 65, when he said that he'll make a new heaven and a new earth, and the old one won't even come to mind. Satan ain't even gonna come to mind. Only time Satan gonna come to mind when he go out and deceive the nations because they mad because they lost their spot. Outside of that, that's all what it is. But we almost at 2 hours and 40 minutes, so we're gonna have to stop right here though. But hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. We'll stop right here for now. Yahuwah willing, we'll pick it up on Wednesday. Keep on rolling. But I didn't want y'all to see the tables of the covenant was in what that means. That's what was on there. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, we just looking at something that my man's had hit me up about. Shalom, man. But again, I appreciate y'all, man. I bless y'all at the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Those of y'all in Clubhouse, if you want to stay on there, you can stay on there for a few minutes. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this stream off. Yahuwah willing, to the next